All right, guys, we should be live now. Thank you for being patient with me. Usually, I like to wait just a little bit so that more people can file in, but it also gives me a little bit of extra time to try to get everything sorted. So, Sir Speaks a Lot right off the bat. Welcome to another episode of MBG Feet Picks, the series where I always ask for feet picks, and MBG being the I don't know what that word is that he never shows them. Well, thank you for that, Sir Speaks a Lot. Yes, you do seem to speak about that a lot. Don't really know what to say about it other than it's a running joke here on the channel, and I curse whoever started that joke. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being patient with me. And thank you for also getting us almost to 250 likes already, which is awesome. It really does help the podcast a lot. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but the podcasts that get the most amount of likes also happen to get the most amount of exposure because they are directly linked to one another. So if you want to see the podcast grow and you enjoy it, just continue to hit that like button and watch. It really means a lot. So last week we did, let me lower my volume a little bit. I think it might be a little too loud here. But last week we did a normal stream, a normal, podcast. But I did forget to actually enable the the low latency mode. And that's something that I usually like to do. So I actually want to talk about this for just a moment before we dive into the topics. We have Gamescom coming up this week, and I plan to stream it live as long as, I'm able to. And my last stream, it seems like a recurring issue, and I can never tell if it's my PC or if it's just my stream settings or whatnot, but it seems like it's 50-50. There's times where I stream live events and it goes perfectly fine and there's no issues. And then there's other times where it's just chugging along and it's just not good. And I'm thinking for the next event, I might just experiment a little bit. I probably won't put the low latency mode on or the ultra low latency mode just to see if that helps to give it the smoothest experience. And I'm just going to kind of experiment a little bit and mess around. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Gamescom later on today. We have a lot of really, really good topics to go over and talk about today. It seems like the news is slowing down just a little bit because we've essentially went the entire month, or close to the entire month. We still have another week left, of course, and who knows what could happen this upcoming week, right? But we've essentially went nearly the entire month without any really major or significant next-gen news. At least that's what it feels like. And it's just insane to think that both Sony and Microsoft have yet to actually reveal a price or pre-order info or any of this important stuff that many of us are patiently waiting for. And it seems like the rumors and the leaks and the inside information, I think most of us are okay with that. It gets to a tiresome point when it's like that seems to be the only thing we're hearing anymore. You know what I mean? And we're starting to get into that territory again. We got into that territory earlier this year around March, right before Sony announced their deep dive, and people were just getting a little bit fed up. And it seems like we're starting to get to that point now, which is unfortunate because this is just the weirdest buildup to a console launch that I've ever seen. But yeah, guys, before I get into the topics, I do want to just remind you that if you want to support me directly, consider becoming a channel member. A big thank you and a big shout out to all of my channel members as usual. I really appreciate the support that you show me here, the direct support as an independent content creator. It really goes a long way for me and it means a lot. So shout out to you guys. But just to give you a quick rundown of the topics we will be discussing and going over today, we are going to talk about the PlayStation 5's launch lineup, and I want to kind of angle this discussion around the idea that we're going to see two very different things kind of clash here, where we have the PlayStation 5, which is a very powerful and very capable console. We all know this. I don't want anybody to think that by me angling the conversation this way, I'm making it sound like the Xbox Series X is going to stomp the PS5. We know that that's just not going to be the case. What's up, Junior Jackson? Thank you for being here, buddy. You're saying hello, MBG in chat. May lose connection. I'm driving from Utah to Colorado. Hope everyone enjoys the episode. Yes, Junior Jackson, you've been a member for quite some time here, as you can tell by your logo. So what's up, man? Appreciate you stopping by. But the way I want to angle this conversation is we have a seemingly strong PlayStation 5 launch lineup, and I have to talk more about this because we are now seemingly getting very clear evidence that, solid evidence, I should say, that Demon's Souls will in fact be a launch title. And I've been talking about this kind of nonstop since we learned about it, probably because I'm very excited about it, but it really just adds a whole new level or layer, I guess you could say, of depth and strength to the PlayStation 5's launch lineup if it does launch within the first month or two of this console being out. And so we also have conversation that has started up once again about the Xbox Series X power factor, where they did their Hot Chips conference, and I'm not going to be diving into that to do some type of technical analysis or anything like that. That's not what I do here on the channel. That's certainly not what I specialize in. And I don't want to downplay anything either. So essentially what I want to do is kind of talk about the conversation surrounding the marketing of the PlayStation 5 and the Series X. Because on one side, Sony seems to just be all in with the idea of, yes, our console is powerful, but that's not really what they focus on. They're focusing on the games. They're focusing on letting the games do the talking for them. They're focusing on trying to communicate the idea of this is next generation, and not everybody's going to be able to come along for the ride, at least not at first, but it's in the name of progress. It's in the name of a generational leap. Towards you look at Microsoft, and it seems they're still doubling down on the whole power narrative, as well as their fans. And it's just such a bizarre thing because, and this is kind of what makes me rant a little bit, because we seem to get so far, at least people who are all about the 12 T-flop power, real-time ray tracing that the Series X is going to offer. Like, it's nothing against those individuals, because like if that's what excites you the most about next generation, then more power to you, right? Like, it's up to you to decide what excites you when it comes to your next console purchase. However, I do think that sometimes it gets to a toxic level where it's like, what about the games, right? Like, what is this all about at the end of the day? And I just feel like we lose sight of that. And so we're gonna talk about that. Don't worry, we're gonna get into that. And as I mentioned earlier, I do want to talk more about the events, because it's seeming like, in my opinion, it seems obvious at this point. We don't know what the final week of August holds. We're gonna find out, but it seems like Microsoft and Sony are actually going to be pushing off significant, and like possibly some of the most significant information about these next-gen consoles until September, which is insane because that's cutting it so damn close. But there has to be a reason why they're both doing this. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We have OK Kapapa. Okapapa, I don't know how to say your name. I'll just call you OK. You're saying currency exchange rates are volatile. USD devaluating must be a nightmare to prices, both for Sony and Microsoft. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming there are a lot of different factors going on behind the scenes that play into why neither of these companies have actually talked about the price yet. It is, as I said, it's absolutely insane that we are going to be entering September, and both of these consoles will most likely be launching in November, and we still have no idea how much. I mean, we do have an idea of how much they're going to cost. It's not like the PS5 is going to be $800 or $300, right? It's not going to happen. We do have an idea, but still, it's just crazy that they haven't talked about it. Okay, here's something that's going to be exciting to talk about. Mark Cerny is apparently working on a new game. We now have another source claiming that Mark Cerny is working on a new game. And no, I know, to the dismay of many, it's not Knack 3. I know, crazy, it's sad. So I'm looking at my credits roll here, and I can't help but notice that it seems to be cut off. And I think this is like the second week in a row it's doing this, where it just ended with, I believe JV Rod at the end there. but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to end with Devil Child, because when I make this each week, this credits roll, I'm starting to think that maybe I accidentally cut it off halfway through or something and I don't realize it. So I guess I do want to apologize to any of my members who are apparently not showing up in the credits roll. I do apologize. I could have swore I looked over that to ensure that that wasn't a problem again, but it seems it was. So sorry about that, guys. I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. I may have to extend it or something like that. Very, very bizarre. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, Mr. Hamster, you're saying China gaming site has your tweet on the news for 2 days. Yeah, Mr. Hamster, I saw you. You were talking to me about this. Apparently, one of my tweets that I put out, which was not official information, just want to put that out there. It was just me kind of giving my best guess. Apparently, a very well-known Chinese website reported on it, and it's been on their website. So, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, you know. It's pretty interesting. I would never know because I don't speak Chinese or read Chinese, so I would never visit a Chinese gaming website. But pretty cool nonetheless. I'll take it. Plus on Black, thank you so much, buddy, for becoming a member and going above and beyond to support me directly here. Look forward to your exclusive perks. I do want to remind everybody that members do get 15% off in the merch shop. So it's a perk you get. You do get your name in the credits roll here. That is if I can manage not to screw it up. You do get your badges. But when it comes to the next episode of MBG and Friends, I'm forgetting the name of my own. MBG and Friend, MBG and Brown Sugar, essentially, the little podcast we do for members only. That next episode, I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be because I want to kind of wait until Gamescom comes and goes so we can have an idea if there's anything significant announced there. So it may be pushed back to the first week of September, but you don't have to worry about that. It will be coming. I just want to make sure that, nothing major happens right before we talk about that. So thank you for that, buddy. Yeah, I see somebody else mentioning that, we went over the information from the, supposed insider known as Titix recently this week on the channel, and I'm going to bring up the gameplay here. There we go. Yeah, got some Fall Guys gameplay for you guys, so enjoy that. I got some Fall Guys gameplay and some Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, but the insider known as Titix, if he is in fact an insider, he mentioned, I think it was earlier this week, where, and this is just a claim he made seemingly out of nowhere. It is worth noting he is literally the only person I've seen mention it. And it's exciting. The reason why I didn't mind covering it is because regardless of whether it's happening this week or not, it is something that is certainly happening. It's going to happen. Even if it's not this week, it could be next week, the week after. People, media, and influencers getting hands-on time with the PlayStation 5 to just experience it. And then eventually they'll be able to do their write-ups and their videos and whatnot. I don't doubt it. However, I have seen a lot of people keep mentioning me that the individual known as Foxy Games UK claims that he was one of these individuals. Now, look, I'm not here calling anybody out. That is the last thing I'm doing. And I don't care, to be completely honest, simply because I think that, we hear from a lot of different insiders. We hear from a lot of different people. All I'm going to say is that if you are somebody, now, if I were to tell you guys that I was one of these people, even though, let's just say I do live in the UK. I don't, but let's just say I did. And I told you guys, and I said, oh man, I got to experience this. It was awesome. Right off the bat, it's not true, because part of the NDA is you're not allowed to just go around telling people that you got to play the PlayStation 5. That is you literally, not only would you break your NDA, but you could get in a lot of trouble. So, I'm not saying it's not possible. Maybe it is, but maybe he just doesn't care. And he's just living on the edge and saying, screw it. I don't care if I get in trouble, and I'm only mentioning this because sometimes companies do let you talk about this. Sony has done that for game reviews where they let people talk about the fact that, hey, I'm reviewing this game. Check it out. I'm currently playing it. But I haven't seen literally anybody else doing that. So he either broke NDA or there was no NDA to begin with. We have Awazi Keith. You're saying, can you do a face reveal? If I ever do a face reveal, it'll probably come later on, Probably maybe during like when I hit 100K subscribers, we'll do like a special, maybe a PS5 unboxing. I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to ever completely convert my content to being on camera all the time, but yeah, look, I'm not trying to call out anybody. I'm not trying to say that because the truth is, when it comes to all insiders, they could all we don't know when they're lying or making stuff up. I'm just trying to convey that it's highly, 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 highly unlikely that Sony said, sure, go ahead and tweet about your experience and let people know that you've been playing on the PS5. And I don't believe that. But hey, if it's true, then it's true. Either I do kind of believe, again, I did cover that rumor because it seems like, it does seem like something that Sony is either already in the process of doing or they will be doing. But yeah, maybe it is true. If it is, that would be pretty crazy. I mean, hell, I would be excited. I would love if Sony were to allow to let people to say, hey, like, I've been playing the PS5. Wait till you hear my thoughts on it. That'd be awesome. Somebody's saying the stream is very laggy. Can you guys chat? Can you let me know how the stream's looking for you guys? Because I do have it on the ultra low latency mode here. It looks okay on my end, but yeah. With Battletoads having a higher Metascore than Days Gone, does that mean it's a better game? Spider-Man, no, I don't think it does. Okay, everybody's saying it's fine. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. No, I don't think it makes it a better game. If there's something I've learned recently, I mean, I've kind of always known it, but more so now than ever before, as I continue to really dive deeper into games, Metacritic scores don't mean anything. It's always nice to celebrate them. And yes, it is very easy to use a lower Metacritic score against the game, but I've kind of just gotten away from that because it just doesn't really mean much, man. Make your own Metacritic score. Again, like The Last of Us 2 is an interesting situation for me because that has one of the highest Metacritic scores ever, but I just don't agree with it. From a video game standpoint, yes, it deserves that Metacritic score for like the time and effort that went into the detail and just the overall production quality and value of that game. But it's all subjective. Like, that's the point. It's all subjective. Make up your own score for yourself because that's all that's going to matter at the end of the day to you. So Void TX8, thank you so much, buddy, for becoming a member. I appreciate you going above and beyond to support me here directly. It helps way more than you know, especially me being an independent content creator. So thank you so much for that, buddy. Look forward to your exclusive perks. But yeah, so I want to dive into the topics here. And so the first topic we're going to talk about is the strength of the PlayStation 5 launch lineup. Now, it is worth noting that as of right now, Sony hasn't really confirmed all that much. We know that they have already confirmed that Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to be a launch title. And as of right now, that's significantly bigger, and it is more significant than anything Microsoft has, which is unfortunate for Microsoft. We know that Halo Infinite got delayed, and that is something we are also going to be talking about, by the way. We are certainly going to be diving into the recent reports of apparently Halo Infinite being in a lot of trouble. We have a supposed insider, and I'm getting tired of saying that, but I know you guys like to keep up to date with this stuff regardless of, I present the information, you determine for yourself whether or not you believe it, but we have a supposed insider over on Reset Era who is giving us some information claiming that things behind the scenes over at 343 are really not good, to the point where the game is in consideration for them to actually push it back to 2022 and drop the base Xbox One version. So that is very interesting. We're going to talk more about that, but what I want to focus on here is the launch lineup. So we have more evidence recently, guys, that the launch lineup of the PlayStation 5 is actually going to be potentially significantly stronger than we were originally thinking. Demon's Souls was rated. Now, here's what you guys need to understand. I got a little bit annoyed because of my recent video where I talked about Demon's Souls being rated. People were like, I'm tired of the rumors. Like, that's not a rumor. That's not a leak. That's not inside information. That's a real thing that happened. Demon's Souls for PlayStation 5 was rated, and it's the only other game to be rated so far alongside Spider-Man Miles Morales. And games only get rated officially when they are between 1 to 3 months out from launch. So it's not a rumor, and people need to stop perceiving it that way. Yes, we did talk about the fact that Imran Khan also confirmed, if he's to be believed, that apparently Demon's Souls was always targeting a PlayStation 5 launch window. So that's just him kind of backing it up. We have Brianna Livingston. You're saying, imagine playing Black Myth Wukong on the PlayStation 5 with the DualSense controller. Yeah, I have to admit, that game looked very impressive. I did feature that gameplay in one of my videos. And yeah, that just kind of came out of nowhere and really shocked people. And people are very impressed with how good it looks from an independent studio. And yeah, I hope it does make its way to the PS5 because I will certainly play it. It looks really awesome. But yeah, when it comes to the launch lineup of the PlayStation 5, we have it's looking like it's going to be Spider-Man Miles Morales and Godfall. I believe both of those games will be there day one with the PlayStation 5. As in, when you go pick up your PS5, you can walk out with a copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales and a copy of Godfall. When it comes to Demon's Souls, also you will get Astro's Playroom. That comes free with every PlayStation 5 console. So there's 3 titles. And apparently Astro Playroom is a full-blown game. Like, it's a game that takes hours to complete, apparently. So, but let's be real, nobody's buying a PS5 just for Astro's Playroom, but it's a nice addition for sure. So when it comes to Demon's Souls, as I've said, I don't think that Demon's Souls is going to be there day one. It would make a lot more sense to see it come out either in December or possibly even January, maybe even February. Maybe March. I think that might be pushing a little bit, though. I don't even know if I would consider it like a launch title at that point. Some people consider launch titles to be something that happens, like a game that releases within 6 months of a console. So in that case, maybe. We also have another new member, Asset Man. Thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate your direct support. Look forward to your exclusive perks, and I really do appreciate you going above and beyond, buddy. It means a lot here, so thank you so much for that. Shout out to all my members, as usual. Couldn't do it without you guys. But, you know, you think about this, and we also have a game like Bug Snacks. I believe that's confirmed for, I don't know. Is that confirmed for a launch? I mean, if it is, then it's over. I mean, if Bug Snacks is, and I'm not making fun of Bug Snacks. It's, you know, it's just kind of a meme at this point because Bug Snacks is looked at as like that game that people are looking forward to, but it's also just a little bit funny as well. That game, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, I was under the impression it was going to be a launch title, but they actually confirmed in my Twitter thread that apparently they're not quite finished yet. So they want to hit launch, but they might not. I do want to let you guys know it is like randomly just storming like crazy outside of my place right now. So I just want to say that if my stream just gets cut randomly, it's because I lost power. So I'm just giving you that warning right now. So be aware of that. And if that does happen, I can't guarantee that I'll be back. So I do apologize in advance. If that does happen, obviously I will have to wait until the power comes back on. I'm only saying this because my power I had a pretty significant power outage recently, and it took quite a while for the power to come back on. And the last time it happened, it was kind of looking very similar outside to what it looks like right now. So bad timing, I guess. So I'll just keep chugging along here. Oyakarumi, you're saying, what's up, bro? I saw you. Did you see the DC fandom yesterday? What do you think? Yeah, I do actually want to talk about that for just a moment here. We will get back on topic to the MBG needs more power. Yeah. We will get back on topic here, but I do want to take a moment to talk about the 2 games that were revealed yesterday, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I am very interested to see what you guys think, because I'll tell you right now. Well, first, let me read this. Abraham, you're saying, do you have any recommendations for the best gaming TV for PlayStation 5 range from 2018 to 2020? If so, can you make a video in the future? Oddly enough, the timing of this question is very interesting to me because I've also been looking into TVs. And guys, I cannot decide because it seems like the real thing you want to look for is, how much do you care about overall picture quality versus how much you care about having like features that are directly geared towards gaming? For example, I was looking into Sony's OLEDs as well as LG's OLEDs. And I feel like LG is kind of considered the go-to, but I kind of wanted to see the comparison between a LG OLED and a Sony. And there are some slight differences. It seems the real difference with the OLED TVs is the LG C10, I think, is the 2020 version. It has like a lot of gaming features built in, like HDMI 2.1, I think variable something. Just a bunch. I'm not an expert here, but just a bunch of stuff that gamers would really be appreciative of, to where the Sony OLED for some reason doesn't feature this stuff. But Sony does have their own line of LED TVs. I think they're like the MH900s or something like that. But they're like the top end LED TVs. The 900 is the one that comes to mind, where apparently that has all of the built-in gaming features that you would, want to take advantage of. However, it doesn't have an OLED panel. Spider-Man, you're saying, MBG, I don't think you should do a face reveal just from pressure from the community. There's a lot of toxic people out there that would harass you. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I've been on camera before. It's not, I just feel comfortable doing my content like this, but I wouldn't mind going back on camera occasionally. I feel like it does add another layer of personality. So it wouldn't be out of pressure. It would be because, I just feel like we hit a big milestone. So I want to make it more personable to thank everybody. Pro Skills X, you're saying, I bought the LG CX65. It's amazing. Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. Apparently, it's a very, very, very good TV. But yeah, the thing about OLED is you do get the best picture quality. You do have to worry about burn-in as usual with OLED, which is unfortunate. But the thing is, I just don't know how important some of these features, like all these TVs have a game mode, right? For lower latency, but it just seems like the LG has more built-in features when it comes to the gaming aspect of it, to whereas the Sony OLED doesn't. But I don't know. I'll have to decide which one I want to get. I did hear that there are some slight potential picture quality advantages. When you're watching these breakdowns, they get very technical. It's like trying to talk about the two competing consoles. They both have their pros and cons, but yeah, I don't know. I do notice that the Sony is just a little bit more expensive, though, than the LG, and I'm not sure what's up with that. I don't know if that's just for the, just because of the name brand or what, but I do like LG a lot, but I do like Sony as well. Sony makes very high-quality products. I know that seems funny because it's just like, oh, well, obviously the PlayStation-centric channel likes the Sony products, but I've never been, I don't know, Samsung, their QLED technology, too, is apparently on point, but I don't know if that has actually surpassed OLED yet. Anyway, didn't mean to get too far into that, but I do want to just take a moment to talk about the new games that were revealed yesterday. You're saying Sony has better sound quality, though. Yeah. See, you gotta weigh it all out. Like, if you have a sound bar, does that matter at that point? You know what I mean? But at some point, I hope to upgrade. See, I want to get OLED, but I'm just afraid that like I'm gonna get screen burn or something. The TV you are looking at is the X900H. There you go. Yeah, that's the one. That's that Sony TV with all the gaming features, but it is an LED. Anyway, guys, I'm getting way off topic here. I don't mind talking about TVs sometimes, but it's just not my area of expertise, so I don't want to say something and then sound incredibly dumb. But Spacebar, you're saying Samsung QLED is basically just an LED TV, same as Sony. Yeah, I haven't looked too much into QLED. I've just heard like good things about it. I don't know if it's one of those gimmicky things or not, but yeah, when it comes to TVs, man, there's a lot to research, honestly, and a lot to look into because it's an investment. They're very expensive. We're talking about very expensive TVs. So you just want to make sure that, yeah, you're saying OLED will burn in, though. QLEDs take longer to burn. Yeah, the burn-in is the number one thing that's deterring me from considering getting an OLED. I'm pretty nervous about that for how expensive it is. Crispy, you're saying buy an OLED from Best Buy. Their extended warranty covers burn-in. Oh, okay. I'm glad you're letting me know about that because maybe that I will consider. Because if that's the case, then yeah, maybe I don't usually buy like extended warranties, but for something like that, I probably would. Brianna, you're saying Black Myth Wukong on PS5 using the DualSense controller and the Sony Pulse 3D audio headset would be a dream come true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what their 3D audio headset's going to be like. That's one of the things I'm buying everything for the PS5, but I'm very interested to see the quality of that headset. It looks cool too, so I'm all for that. And I agree, that does sound like an awesome combo. Pro Skills X, you're saying you want the LG CX. It has a 1 millisecond response time. Just don't leave it on a still image, no burn-in. That is very impressive. 1 millisecond? I don't know, man. That sounds too good to be true. I believe it, actually. I think that's one of the advantages of OLED, the OLED technology. So, yeah, I'll have to consider it. I'll have to see which one I want to go with. But I think at the end of the day, like, these TVs that we're talking about, they're all so high in quality that, like, it doesn't really matter which one you go with. You're gonna get a good product. You know what I mean? That's what it. I mean, that's kind of what it is with the consoles. But the difference is consoles have exclusives, to where TVs, as far as I know, don't have exclusives. So, yeah. All right. So let's talk about these new games that were announced because, oh boy, DC Fan Dome, I think is what they called it, happened yesterday, and first of all, I want the Batman movie trailer. Okay. Wow. That was awesome. I got to say, like, that really surprised me. I didn't really have any expectation for that trailer when it came out, or just for the movie in general. And then I saw that trailer and it was really good. I know it's not a game, but still, I was the tone, the atmosphere, going for that like ominous horror vibe. It looks like it could potentially be the darkest Batman movie we've ever seen. I know a lot of people are questioning Robert Pattinson as Batman, but I don't know, man. It looks like he fits the role pretty well. Saying Truity, so are we mad that Bruce Wayne is dead in the new Batman game? The Suicide Squad game looks awesome. I love them both. They won. I only agree with half of your statement there. Actually, no, I don't know. I don't agree with the Suicide Squad one. I want to talk about that in a minute. We have Oyak Rumier saying, can you tell the difference between 2160p, 1440p? You can tell the difference if you look close enough, and the bigger the bigger the image is on a screen, the easier you can tell the difference. But what it comes down to is overall the fidelity, the quality of each pixel, believe it or not, does matter. That's why a game like The Last of Us Part 2, even though it's only in 1440p, no one really notices that because it's the pixel quality is so high and the fidelity is so high that you really can't tell. But yeah, that Batman game looked amazing. The Batman movie looked amazing. I mean, when he just like beat the crap out of that guy, he's like, I'm vengeance. Like, I was like, whoa, okay. All right. I'm on board, man. I am on board. It looks really good. But talking about the games, I agree. Ben Affleck was a great Batman. Also, the fact that Ben Affleck is apparently coming back for the Flash movie alongside Michael Keaton is kind of mind-blowing. It's awesome, honestly. But the game Gotham Knights. Okay, so Gotham Knights, like, when I heard that Batman wasn't going to be starring in it, at first I was like, oh, like, that's disappointing. But then I started to realize, maybe that's not so bad because, we had a lot of Batman games. And I'm like, okay, so they're taking a different angle. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, I can appreciate this. But then it got a little bit nerve-wracking because it's like, uh-oh, this is kind of looking like Avengers. Not that there's anything wrong with the Avengers. It looks like the Avengers looks like an okay game. It's just not the type of game that really gets me that excited. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are saying Batman isn't actually dead. Come on. I highly doubt he's actually dead. He could be, though. But, apparently you can play this Gotham Knights game single player. You can play the whole thing by yourself if you want, and that's great. But the thing that really kind of surprised me is apparently it's only 2-player co-op, which I was not aware of. I thought it was like a 4-player co-op thing. There are some light RPG aspects, and to be honest, I think it looks good. I think Gotham Knights looks pretty solid, and I like the angle they're going with because it's still in the Batman universe. It's still set in Gotham, but it's not just It's not focused on Batman this time, so it will be interesting to see that game. However, gotta tell you, I gotta talk a little bit about that Suicide Squad game. Look, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, so please don't take it that way. I'm just here to give you my opinion. If you're excited for what you saw, then that's awesome. More power to you. I see somebody asking if I thought it was in-engine footage. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Like, I think that was a CGI trailer. I don't know if they confirmed it or not. But here's my whole thing with that. Okay, so Rocksteady is a, world-renowned studio, and there's a lot of expectation with them. They're very much associated with high quality, which, I don't think will change here per se. But oh my God, like, of all the things they could have done, the fact that they're going with Suicide Squad, I no matter how much I try to feel excited for it, I just can't. I was really hoping that when I saw this trailer or whatever, the fact that there was no gameplay did not help at all, right? It's been 5 years. You would think that we would get a little bit of gameplay, but nothing. I've never been a fan of the Suicide Squad. Okay, like, I don't understand what is so cool or interesting about Suicide Squad. Like, Harley Quinn, I'm just gonna be real right now, is an annoying ass character. Like, she's fine as like a secondary character, and no, it has nothing to do with her being a woman. Because I just know some people are gonna turn into that. No, but to me, Harley Quinn's character was always the type of character that was best suited as like a support character, not the other way around. And granted, you could argue, well, with Suicide Squad, you do have other characters that she can interact with, and that's nice. But dude, the movie, the 2016 Suicide Squad movie, was just, God, like, what was up with that? If that movie couldn't be good with Will Smith as Deadshot, I'm just like, let's just move on to something else. But now we have another Suicide Squad movie, and I guess for some reason they just decided this is what they want to go with in the trailer. Like, the coolest part of that Suicide Squad trailer to me was when they showed Superman. And it was kind of weird because it's like, I guess somebody's saying Harley Quinn is best with Joker. Yeah, I agree. Like, they're a great duo together. They really are, And I don't know what this whole, like, Harley Quinn has to be her own thing now all the time. It kind of just annoys me because it's like, that's not what made the duo and the dynamic between Joker and Harley Quinn is her being on her own. Like, it's them together, but whatever. LSSJT, you're saying, just got here. Have you seen the new Batman trailer? I like it, but I don't like the suit. I did. I was just talking about that, LSSJT. I thought the trailer was awesome. The suit, I think, is fine. I think it fits the aesthetic of the movie, honestly. I liked Ben Affleck's Batman suit. I think he had the best one. It just looked awesome. He looked like a freaking gorilla in that thing, which I loved. But I think the look of the suit for the movie fits the aesthetic. And I was just talking about the Suicide Squad game, and I don't know, man. Like, it's probably just me because I see that there's a lot of people. Some people are saying, was that Superman? Was that actually Bizarro? That's what I was thinking at first. But I don't know, man. I just can't get into it. I just can't. Like, I like the more serious. It's so bizarre to me that we're in a situation right now where the Avengers game is seemingly taking the more serious, grounded approach, right? But Rocksteady's next game it reminded me of Sunset Overdrive. Did anybody else get those vibes? I was really getting Sunset Overdrive vibes when watching it, which is not a bad thing, but it's just anything that Rocksteady, oh man, it just drove me crazy to see Superman, but just to know that we're not playing as Superman, we're hunting him, and I'm like, okay, like, maybe it could be good. The premise itself is not what bothers me. It's just the fact that I have like zero interest in really any of those characters. Like that shark dude. No, I apologize if I offend anybody who's a big fan of that specific character, but what in God's name, you're going to tell me one of the main characters of the Suicide Squad game is a dude that's a shark? I don't get it, man. Like, I don't get it. It's just not exciting to me. Somebody saying you think Superman's being mind controlled. By Brainiac. That's a pretty cool premise to me, where it's like, oh, the Justice League actually went rogue and they're bad now. And now you're playing as the bad guys, but you're being the good guys. So it's like, okay, I get it, but not just the shark, King Shark. Oh, okay, my bad. There are worse characters in DC. I don't doubt it. I'm just saying, like, dude, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I would have even preferred a game, like, if there was just a game about, like, Hawk Girl or something, if that's the name of that character, and it's just her. I mean, to me, that sounds a little bit. Yeah, look, King Shark. I know. Look, I'm not as into it, so I do apologize. I probably sound very ignorant speaking the way I do. I know that some people are, much more knowledgeable in this. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. That's all I'm saying. Oyakurumi, you're saying Batman is hogging all the games. Nobody cares about the other superhero games. That is why. I do agree. Like, we don't need to see Batman take the, center stage at all times. But I do just feel, you're saying all this guy does is complain. That's not true. Did you not just hear me say how awesome I think the new Batman game looks? And I think Gotham Knights looks good. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the Suicide Squad game, that trailer just didn't do it for me. It really just makes me feel like they're trying to make a game based off of the 2016 movie, and they're trying to make it zany and silly. And I don't know, man. Like, I like DC better when they take a more serious tone, and I think that's kind of what they've always been known for. And frankly, that's what I prefer. I just prefer the more mature, grounded tone. And it's just really strange to me to think that Rocksteady's been working on this for 5+ years, and they didn't even show any gameplay. And that's because I've heard that apparently they had a lot of development issues. I even heard that apparently they did start working on a Superman game, but then it got, like, canceled at some point, and they were just like, oh, okay. Yeah, like Captain Boomerang, like, guys, I really need to know, is that, like, a big character? Is Captain Boomerang a big character? Because I don't get it. I'm not trying to be rude or offend anybody. I'm just, I just don't understand. Because when I hear the name Captain Boomerang, I just want to laugh. And maybe that's the point, right? But I just don't get it. Like, am I supposed to be, like, hyped to play as Captain Boomerang? Pro Skills X, you say, bro, I've been telling you, try PlayStation Now and try some PS3 exclusives. Yeah, maybe at some point I will. It's hard to say, man, I can't help but get this feeling that I'm, like, seriously offending some people right now. I apologize if I am. I'm just being honest with my thoughts. You serious, MVG? What a clown. Dude, wait, is he a big character, though? I'm so confused. Like, is this the equivalent of me saying, like, does anybody even care about Hulk in the Avengers? Like, you know what I mean? Is that the equivalent of what I'm saying right now? True Witty, you're saying, honestly, it should have been a Justice League with Brainiac as the enemy and his robots, like DC Universe Online. Dude, I agree 100%. That's really, I think, my dislikes just went up. So, damn. All right, well, I guess I apologize, but I'm just being honest. I agree, though. Like, I would have preferred so much more to see a Justice League game, where you play as the Justice League and it's like a co-op, and I know it seems a little bit cliche because it's like, oh, of course. But even if you're gonna do like a villain-based game, like, why not the cooler super villains? Like teaming up. I think that would have been cooler. But I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just being honest. I was very surprised when I saw that trailer, because I was just like, wow, like, I didn't think I would be sitting here saying that I'm not excited for Rocksteady's next game, but I'm not. And what was even weirder is, and I don't know why they did this, because it just seemed like they didn't have to, and it seems a little bit forced. They confirmed that apparently this is taking place in the same universe as Arkham, but they're retconning a bunch of stuff, right? And I'm just like, okay. Like, apparently King Shark was actually killed in one of the Arkham games, but now he's just back. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Abid Ali, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly, buddy. Thank you so much for becoming a member, buddy. I do appreciate you going above and beyond here to support me directly. So look forward to your exclusive perks, man. Thank you so much for your support. We have a Shorty Faye saying, yes, Suicide Squad is huge. And all those characters. Yeah, again, like, I'm not saying anybody shouldn't be excited for it. You know, it's just like Halo Infinite. Like, if you, and I'm not comparing the two because they're two very different games. I'm just saying, like what you like, enjoy what you like. You know, I'm just here to give my opinion. So it is what it is. You know, I'm excited for the Batman movie. I thought that looked awesome. The Snyder Cut looks pretty cool as well. I'm excited to check that out. I'm excited for the Flash movie, and I'm excited for the Gotham Knights game. But the Suicide Squad movie coming up, as well as the game, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Anyway, guys, we're going to get back on the gaming topic here, but I had to take some time to talk about this because it was a big thing that happened yesterday, and I'm sure some of you were interested in my thoughts on that. So I guess at this point, I'll ask you to leave a like. Those of you who have left dislikes because I'm talking smack on Captain Boomerang here, if you could reconsider and maybe turn that dislike into a like, I would really greatly appreciate that. But yeah, guys, hit that like button. LSSJT, you're saying off topic, but what are some of your PRs for major lifts like deadlift? Mine is a 405-pound deadlift at 150 pounds myself. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys right now. I do not power lift at all. Mainly because anytime I've ever tried to do like personal bests, I've always hurt myself, like consistently, to the point where I'm just not lifting this way anymore. So frankly, I don't lift heavy at all. Like I don't think I've ever really went over like a 225 or 250 pound bench. I know that may sound like weak to some people, but I'm more about volume. I'm more about reps, more like the bodybuilding type approach, not necessarily heavy. But I have, I think I've tried to push myself before, but I'm just not, I don't do that, man. Like I just don't do the powerlifting stuff. To me, it's just not worth it at all. Especially not only because I personally hurt myself every time, but I just don't know that your body needs that. You know what I mean? Although I do understand why people do like doing stuff like powerlifting and trying to push their body. So I don't lift heavy. It's just not something I do. And I know like there's a whole ego association with it as well. And I know I'm getting really off topic here. I do apologize. We're going to get back into it, but there's a big ego association with lifting heavy. And you could argue maybe that's why I've hurt myself before, but there are many different ways to build your body up, and powerlifting is just one of those many different ways. So MBG weak confirmed. These days I'm pretty weak. The gym's being closed. I gotta start investing in some home equipment, man, because it's not good. I like to think I'm not the only one though, right? Anyway, all right, we're gonna get back on topic here because I'm really getting off topic here, and I know that most of you are here to talk gaming. So, MBG Stickman confirmed. No, man, I'm not Stickman. I'm not like lanky or anything like that. But I'm definitely not like roided out either. I'm all natural. So, okay. Something I want to talk about, the Xbox Series X and the power factor, okay? So Microsoft talked in depth during a recent Hot Chips conference about the Series X, and we all know this console is going to be powerful. That just simply cannot be denied. To be honest, it's very impressive what Microsoft has done with the Series X, but this has led to further conversation about the overall power factor and how the power is going to impact next generation. And to me, it's always been very obvious that the power factor is not really going to truly be the defining factor when it comes to not only console gaming, but really any generation of console gaming that we've ever seen. Man, you guys are saying some weird stuff right now in the chat, but this was something that was interesting because one of the things that was talked about during this Hot Chips conference from Microsoft was they went all in depth with the GPU and just the architecture of the Xbox Series X. It was basically their own version of a teardown. And they talked about ray tracing, and I found this interesting because PC Gamer wrote up an article on it, and I was thinking about doing a dedicated video, but I just didn't really think it was necessary because, to be honest, what we're about to talk about can also be applied to the PlayStation 5's SSD, and that's what we need to understand. And I maybe went in a little bit too hard on Twitter with this. And I'm not backtracking per se, but I admit that maybe I went in too hard. But essentially what it came down to was the architect of the Xbox Series X actually, he was not bragging, but he was talking about everything that they put into the GPU, 52 compute units, how they have dedicated ray tracing cores, and they put a big emphasis on ray tracing. And, they talked in depth about what will be possible. And there's no doubt. I don't think anybody doubted for a second that the Series X won't be capable of ray tracing to a significant degree. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why they kind of went all in with the GPU, right? And it's a technology that, frankly, all I think publishers and developers are starting to slowly come on board with. But the real problem to me was, and this was maybe just the way that the article was written up, but they really made it sound like the architect of the Xbox Series X was explaining that, hey, this is all we did for ray tracing, and we went all in the technology and everything, but developers aren't ready to use it. Developers prefer the old method, the traditional methods. And I don't know. I just think that that's a little bit unfortunate because it's like, maybe this is where you do see, maybe Sony did make the smarter choice here with what they did with the SSD, because even though you could argue the same thing with the PlayStation 5's SSD, you could argue that, well, third-party developers, they're not going to be able to fully utilize this SSD, maybe even ever, because they're third-party games. But even if they do want to try to take advantage of it, it's probably going to take them some time to do so. However, the same cannot be said for Sony's first-party studios. Sony's first-party studios, it will take them time, just like any other development studio, to fully learn how to take complete advantage of the SSD. However, I just feel like, considering we didn't see Microsoft really show anything of significance from any of their first-party studios utilizing ray tracing in a significant way, it's just like, is what you're saying also applicable to your first-party studios? Because if that's the case, that seems really bizarre to me. We have Spacebar. You're saying, after watching the conference, I feel like the PS5 will be easier to max out. Mark Cerny really focused on what devs would want/use. And yeah, and that's the big thing here, is like, I just thought that comment, in particular from the architect of the Xbox Series X, just seemed bizarre to me, because it seemed to go, it's almost like in the complete opposite of what Mark Cerny had to say about the PS5. Mark Cerny said that he went to developers. Sony went to many developers and asked them, like, what do you want most? Like, what's going to matter to you most? Like, what do you consider the most important next-gen factor when it comes to game development, right, and architecture? And and according to Mark Cerny, unless he was lying, but I highly doubt that, right, it would be not in their best interest at all to lie about something like that. At that point, they're just lying to themselves, right? They all kind of said the same thing, where they want SSD, they want SSD speed, they want IO throughput, they want better memory bandwidth, they want all of these things to be able to work seamlessly with no bottlenecks. These are the things that Sony put emphasis on, and Microsoft is also putting emphasis on this stuff. But it just seems like, and this is where I find the conversation interesting. This is again where I kind of, harken back to the beginning of this podcast when we were talking about the idea of Sony's first-party lineup going up against the power of the Series X, because they're two very different things here. Because the Series X, let's just face it, they basically don't have a lineup. And the lineup they have is incredibly weak. I mean, it's almost non-existent, to be completely frank, right? And so really the only thing they do have to go on here is the power factor. And so it's like, we have Microsoft once again talking about the power factor, but they're saying these things in such a way, or at least they're coming off as like, oh yeah, like, we did all this, but right now developers aren't ready. And I get it. It's future-proofing. That's what they're doing. Microsoft is future-proofing in an area where they think this is something that developers are going to care more about in the future. And maybe they will. Maybe them going all in with the GPU and the dedicated ray tracing cores. But what's bizarre to me is, while Microsoft is saying these things, okay, I need to emphasize the word saying these things. They're saying these things about their console and really talking it up. Yet, what's the company that showed real-time ray tracing with their games so far, running on the PS5 hardware? That's Sony. Sony's the only one who has done that so far. So it's just so off-putting to me, because when you hear these Xbox dudes talk, it's like the only thing they can truly focus on is what is inside of the box. And that's fine. The spec sheets and whatnot, and that's fine. And if that's the thing that truly gets you hyped and excited for next gen, then more power to you. But it's like that's all they can talk about. Like literally, other than maybe like xCloud, which is fine, Game Pass, don't even get me started, Battletoads, sure, I guess. Oh wait, Flight Simulator. Okay, cool. Very high quality game apparently. Also, to talk about Flight Simulator, all these dudes calling Sony anti-consumer, apparently I've been told this as a common practice with simulation games, which still I don't get it. Doesn't sound very pro-consumer to me. Apparently, Flight Simulator, yes, you can offer the base game for $10 in Game Pass, which is fine, especially for the quality it's offering. But apparently they offer a $90 deluxe edition and a $120 special deluxe edition, which if you're wondering the added benefit, yeah, you get extra stuff, just like any other deluxe and special edition. But again, this is coming from PC Gamer, where they were highlighting that you actually get higher quality handcrafted airports, which to me, that sounds like, wait, so you're telling me I get better graphical fidelity by paying more money? And that's how it came off to me. It was really strange. Chris B, you're saying Microsoft is still trying to lower expectations. They know third-party games will look very similar between the PS5 and SX for a good while. Yeah, and maybe that's exactly why, he's coming off that way, Wait a sec. Whoa. Hold on. Flight Simulator isn't on their system? Wait. What? Nuh-uh. That's a lot. You guys are messing with me, right? Like, Flight Simulator's on the Xbox. It has to be. Right? Only on PC at the moment? What? No fucking way. You're gonna tell me all these dudes coming at me, throwing that shit up in my face, and it's PC only. Oh my God. Is it coming to Xbox? It has to be, right? It has to be. Come on, guys. Come on. And it's melting CPUs. I hope that, it does look like, dude, it is. Okay. Thank God. Oh my God. Like, what the hell? Dude, the flack I've been catching over this game. Oh, I bet you won't talk about the high quality of Microsoft Flight Simulator. First of all, no offense to flight simulations or any type of simulation game. Not my cup of tea. Not most people's cup of tea. That doesn't take away from the quality. But holy shit, you're going to tell me this game isn't even available on the Xbox right now? Come on. What are you guys doing? What are they even talking about anymore at this point? God damn. That is bizarre to me. Wow, I didn't know that. That is very surprising. Oh, Yakarumi, do you think Darkseid and Thanos could be friends? I think they could be very good friends. They have similar outlooks and ideals. So, wow. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I just thought that was like worth pointing out, where it's like, look, we've been hearing how anti-consumer PlayStation is and Sony and all that bullshit that just doesn't even add up or make sense, and it just makes people sound kind of dumb, honestly. And they're saying this. Meanwhile, Sony's the one out here, oh, by the way, free complete multiplayer add-on to anybody who owns Ghost of Tsushima, which is already a complete game well worth the $60 purchase, right? Giving it out here for free. No microtransactions whatsoever. And over here, Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, they're apparently charging you $90 to $120 for the special deluxe editions. And people are making fun of me for this. They're like, oh, MBG's just now learning about deluxe editions. Like, no, I'm well aware of what they are, but it really sounds to me like they're basically saying you pay more money for the better looking version of a portion of this game, that being the airports. I could be wrong, haven't played the game, but that's what it comes off to me as. So, The Furious, you're saying, you see the IGN poll asking if Halo's delay will make you want it on Xbox. 19% saying waiting for Halo or other games. 27% said buying it at launch. 53% saying not interested in Xbox at all. I'm not surprised, man. I don't know what's going on with Xbox anymore, dude, but they do not have it nearly as well put together as a lot of these big Xbox fanboys try to make it come off. And I think that's the saddest part about it is it's like they try so hard to make it seem like Microsoft really has the edge, and it's like, no, they don't, like, at all. They're not even remotely close to having any type of edge on anything. And I don't understand how it's that difficult. I mean, it must be like a form of denial, denial so intense where it's like you have to believe, you have to believe. True Witty, you're saying Flight Sim is, I can't see what that emoji is, but it's only coming to Xbox Series X it does have microtransactions, I would assume, yeah. What Microsoft game doesn't offer microtransactions at this point? It seems like the only games that don't offer microtransactions are the really small ones, right? The ones that they put on Game Pass. Like, does Battletoads have microtransactions? I assume it won't. Wouldn't shock me if it did, but I'm going to assume, considering it's a smaller title, it doesn't. Xbox Game Pass is still a pretty good deal, though. Yeah, I'm not arguing the deal. It is a good deal, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. Oh, I don't know what this upcoming Ghost of Tsushima gameplay is, but you might see me running around a lot. I think I was like trying to run around to escape. Hold on one sec, guys. What is that outside? Okay. Man, it's still pouring where I'm at, so yeah. But I just don't. I know we kind of got a little bit off topic, but the whole reason I'm bringing up the Microsoft, hot chips thing is just, look, I even watched Digital Foundry's breakdown of this, and even they said, for as impressed as they were, and for as awesome as the Series X sounds as a console, and this is where I think people, they take what I say and they kind of twist it, where I've always said that the Series X is a really awesome console. It's a great piece of hardware that I'm glad exists, but when you hear rumors, and I heard rumors, I believe it was Moore's Law is Dead. He was saying that his inside source was telling him that over there at Microsoft, they kind of have like an unhealthy obsession with like T-flops and the power narrative. And I'm not surprised to hear that at all. Frankly, I believe it 100%. And to me, that's just frankly depressing. Because it's like, how the hell can that be your obsession? Like, how? Like, when you are just struggling so much with your games. Like, I want you to think about that. We hear rumors from supposed inside sources saying this is what Microsoft is secretly on the inside obsessed with. And then you see how, frankly, and I'm just going to be candid here, how fucked up development is for 343 Industries with Halo Infinite. And it's like, what the hell? What is going on over there? Like, this is where I genuinely have to question Phil Spencer's supposed leadership ability, where it's like, How? Like, how is this even happening this way? How do you have the world's most powerful console yet again, and yet again, you don't have a game to showcase on it, except these smaller games? Yeah, the medium looks nice, but that's not the AAA system seller that it's supposed to be. It's a third-party timed exclusive that runs at 30 FPS, okay? Which is fine, but don't use that game. How do you have the world's most powerful console once again, and you don't have a game ready to showcase that power, and the game that you were trying to have ready is apparently so messed up when it comes to development that it may not release until 2022, a 2-year delay potentially. Empreb, you're saying the main problem with Sony is the censorship of Japanese games. It's why I have a console at all. Japanese games are going to PC uncensored. To PC, uncensored, or Switch. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, man. I haven't heard much about it, but Sony shouldn't be doing that unless it's like some really, really weird shit. I can understand that. Mass Q, you're saying people should be mad at Xbox for not making deals. Yeah, don't even get me started on that shit, dude. See, this is where I start to swear a lot. I apologize. I try not to swear too much on the channel, but God, man, like, what's up with these users? Like, I am so against Sony making these deals. Like, please stop. You can sit there all day on your high horse about how it's so anti-consumer and against the gamer. Dude, why don't you turn your direction, shift your direction, look at Microsoft, look Phil Spencer square in the eye and say, why can't you do this for us? Huh? Because they're doing it for them. Why can't you do this for us? That's what you should be doing. Demand better. It's okay to be an advocate for change. I'm not opposed to that at all when it comes to overall industry-wide practices, but sometimes it just turns into a situation where, look, like you're never going to win that battle. It's not even a battle worth fighting. So, redirect your energy to something maybe that can be a little bit more productive for your platform of choice. We have the Wonderful Gaming Co. You're saying, boggles my mind that people get so rabid about consoles. These are billion-dollar companies in plastic boxes, not life-altering artifacts. I follow Sony because that's what I play on. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong here. We get pretty passionate about, these plastic boxes, but it's in the name. There's reasons for it, right? It's not just because it's like, oh, we want our box to sell more so we can brag. I mean, maybe for some people, but for me, that's not what it is. For me, it's just about the core and the essence of what makes, in my opinion, console gaming and the console gaming experience truly special, and how we seemingly have one company that's doing everything they can to preserve that, and another company who's literally just throwing it out the window, and while simultaneously bragging about how powerful their console is, and then having no launch titles, and then having apparently game development issues behind the scenes. I'm just like, what the, while still talking about how great of a deal their Game Pass service is. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. True Witty, they are mad because Phil isn't doing the deals. Yeah, they should be mad. They should be, like they really should be. And if apparently it's only going to get worse. So yeah, I don't know. I just had to take some time to kind of rant about this a little bit because, guys, I'm just being real right now. Yeah, I see you guys saying F in the chat. Yeah, I'm just being completely honest right now when I tell you that, power does matter, but not in the way that a lot of these guys would want you to think. You can tell me how much better your box is from the inside, even on the out, to the outside, how much better it is, all of the things it's capable of, all of the details. But at the end of the day, power only matters to the point where you need to see that next generation leap. And the more power, the better, obviously. But I'm just like, a lot of these dudes are basically like, oh, take my word over Mark Cerny's. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. You can tell me how significant the difference is going to be for games on the PS5 and Series X and tell me that because and then also make it sound like Mark Cerny is just kind of like all smoke and mirrors, and Sony made a big mistake doubling down on the SSD, and I'm just like, no, that's okay. I'm gonna take Mark Cerny's word for it because something tells me he actually knows what he's talking about, more so than most people about the console he developed. So, and again, that's why I'm looking at this Microsoft Hot Chips thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like we have the architect breaking down the console. It's no joke. The power packed inside the Series X is no joke. Nobody doubts that. But he's simultaneously saying that for right now, developers don't really want to use the ray tracing cores. They don't really care about trying to utilize all these excess compute units to take full advantage of, and implement full-blown ray tracing. And he's making it sound like maybe it'll take time and maybe it will. But did you ask developers this before you went all in with this technology? Maybe you should have went all in with the technology that developers said, this is what we want. And this is a case of where Microsoft maybe thinks that they know better. Like maybe Microsoft believes they know what developers will want a year or two from now more than developers actually do, although I'm not sure about that one. MH, you're saying without games, a console is nothing but an expensive paperweight. Yep. And you see with these guys that are like, but my third-party games. I'm going to have my third-party games, man. You can't say shit because I'm going to be playing the best version of all my third-party games. Like, okay, cool. Go ahead. Most people are still going to buy a PS5 for all of their games. Most people who are playing on PlayStation right now are not going to be upgrading to a Series X. The only people who are going to probably be upgrading to a Series X are the people who currently own Xbox consoles. And that's not that many people in comparison to how many people own Switches and PlayStation 4s. True Whittier is saying Mark Cerny develops games. He made the Knack series. Yeah, he is a game developer. Maybe it's just me, but maybe you should have a game developer try to help, develop your next console architecture. I don't know. Illust Truth saying, imagine owning a credit card and getting mad that other credit card companies offer much better rewards to its members, and then having the nerve to get mad at your company for its and to not get mad at your company for its lackluster rewards. I know, right, dude? That's a really good way of putting it, Illust Truth. Thank you for that donation, buddy. But that it is really difficult not to see it that way, where it's like you're basically arguing that the game is unfair. Like you're trying to argue that the game itself needs to be changed because the company that you're supporting refuses to play that game. What you should be doing is, hitting them upside the head and saying, get your ass in there, compete, let's go. To sit back and play Kumbaya and expect that the game is going to change overnight and it doesn't work that way. It's not going to work that way. So in my opinion, anytime Phil Spencer or Microsoft executives in general, anytime they make it clear that they're not about these third-party deals, even though they announced 20-plus timed exclusive Series X games and Xbox games, right? Even though they try to make it sound like they're the good guys, like, first of all, they're not the good guys. They're out there doing these deals just like anybody else is. They're just as guilty. They're just not getting the good deals, or not as good, right? They're not getting the deals that are nearly as good, or the ones that make the biggest waves. And so, you could say they are still competing in that sense, but it's a bunch of bullshit, guys. Like, these guys try so hard to convince people like us that are excited about these potential deals that there's something wrong with us. And you know what? Fine. If there's something wrong with me, then fine. There's something wrong with me. But frankly, I don't care. I'm going to buy a damn PlayStation and I'm going to enjoy the exclusive perks that PlayStation owners get. And I'm not going to sit here and try to be on my high horse and basically, well, this isn't fair to all the other, no, it's not about what the hell is fair, okay? I don't know if people realize that by now. It's not about what's fair. Life isn't fair. It never has been and it never will be. It's about doing the best you can in any way you can. And in the name of business, companies will do whatever they need to get the edge. Unless they're Microsoft, of course, and they decide, well, we're just not, because, we're going in our own direction. Well, then fine, go in that direction. My problem isn't even necessarily with Microsoft. It's with the people who are trying to twist this shit into all different, doing mental gymnastics to try to convince everybody that, you're on the right side. There's no right side here, okay? There's just the better side. Leo Jimmy, you're saying Xbox is so thirsty for games. Their fans are hyping a flight simulator. PlayStation needs to let them borrow a game. Here, man, you can borrow the order, but I want it back by Thursday. Yeah, dude, I mean, it's nothing against that. This is where I have no problem with high quality. A high quality game is a high quality game. And if Microsoft's Flight Simulator is a very high quality game, then awesome. But you can't deny the fact that that game is going to appeal to way less people than even a game like The Order 1886. And I'm not saying that The Order 1886 is the highest quality game, but a game like Ghost of Tsushima is a good example. Microsoft is out here putting out stuff like Battletoads, Grounded, and the highest quality game seemingly that they release is a flight simulator. Okay, but I will take Ghost of Tsushima over all three of those titles. And sure, you could say, well, why not have all of it? And you're right. Why not have all of it? Microsoft offers Game Pass. However, I would argue that be careful, because if that's your mentality, if you expect Microsoft to ever change that notion that they now have going for them, well, I don't know that supporting it is going to ever change it, right? And it's just ironic, because it's like you had these guys that are like, oh, we've been pushing Microsoft to do better and change this whole time. And it's like, have they though? You have to understand, they're confusing a shift in business, a business decision, a business change. They confuse that with, oh, it's so pro-consumer. Microsoft's intention with Game Pass, regardless of how far they want to, I gotta be careful what I'm saying here, because I'm about to get real vulgar. Gotta watch myself. Their intention is to make money, okay? Game Pass, for as good of a deal as it is, yes, it is about value. And it is about trying to, convince people to subscribe with that value. But at the end of the day, their goal is the exact same as Sony's and Nintendo's, which is they want your money. So I guess all I'm saying is, just be thoughtful about where you're putting that money towards. Because in a way, by you saying, oh, I love free games, or the closest thing to free games, oh, I can pay $10 and get these games, like, just be prepared to see a slow but steady, if you haven't already seen it in front of your eyes, degradation and corrosion of not just quality, but just the way things have been, and how you're going to see things begin to shift, where suddenly games like Bleeding Edge and Grounded and Battletoads are the norm. And they're actually much more frequent than games such as the games you see over on Sony's side. I mean, I'm trying to think of a high-quality AAA title that Microsoft has offered in recent memory, but I'm just not thinking about it. Straight from VA1, you're saying they were on Twitter hyping up Martha is Dead, a game no one has heard about until this past Thursday. Can you blame them, man? They need it. They need it. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised, man. Like, Pro Skills X, you're saying, hey, stop yelling at me. I've been on PlayStation longer than you. Yeah, I'm not yelling. I'm not trying to yell at anybody per se. I'm just venting a little bit here, ranting. Anyway, we should move along now because I don't want to turn this whole podcast into me just basically bitching about Xbox, because I know you guys do enjoy that sometimes, and I do have a lot to say, but I don't want to continue to just beat a dead horse needlessly, because we do have more to talk about. So let me take a sip of my coffee here. All right. We're going to move right along. And this is something that I'm sure you guys are going to be very interested in, because I know I'm interested in it, because I don't know what the hell to expect at this point. Okay? So, at the time of the recording of this podcast, we are officially entering the final week of August, and we haven't really heard anything more about events from either Sony or Microsoft. We do have Gamescom coming up at the end of this week, actually, and I have to imagine that both Sony and Microsoft will have to have some type of presence. But at this point, it seems like September is when we're actually going to learn about the important things, such as the price, release dates, and all that good stuff that we have been patiently waiting for. Some are starting to get really frustrated at how long it's actually taking these companies to talk about the stuff. And I have to admit, guys, it is getting a tad bit ridiculous at this point. Jeff Grubb updated his list of events once again. And it says that Xbox might have some kind of Game Pass news next week. So I don't know what that could be. Phil Spencer did say recently that their focus is now on trying to beef up, I guess you could say, the Game Pass offering with third parties as an attempt, I guess, to help sell the Series X, which I don't know if that's going to work. But is this confirmed that, I don't know, maybe Phil is going to open up the checkbook and write a really, really large check to secure some type of third-party Game Pass timed exclusivity or something like that. I mean, that would be a good thing for Xbox dudes, but he also, and this is where it gets more interesting in my opinion, he also says, on top of the Game Pass news from Xbox, that he calls it Xbox Series S stuff. That's what he calls it, has actually been moved to September. But what's weird is that there's nothing to be seen here for PlayStation on his list. And when he was asked about it, he pretty much said, like, he hasn't heard anything concrete yet. Like, it's in flux still. So I'm assuming the second he gets a date, we're going to hear about it. That's kind of how these things go. And I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, well, it seems very likely we could at least get a console teardown, a PS5 teardown this week, right? And I think it's totally fair to expect that, to be honest. Like, I think it's kind of ridiculous to imagine, are we really going to go this final week of August with nothing? And I think it's possible, man. My big question is this, okay? I have two big questions. And I don't have the answer, but I'm just trying to have this conversation with you guys because I don't know what's going on here. For those of us who are very excited for these consoles, especially the PS5. The first question is Gamescom. Okay, like, if Sony and Microsoft are going to have a presence there, and I want it to be known that Jeff Keighley made it clear, like, he's really hyping up Gamescom, and he's going to hype it up either way. I don't know if Jeff Keighley's the best source of, how hyped, like, should you be? Like, should you base your measurement of hype for Gamescom off of what Jeff Keighley's saying. No, you shouldn't, because he's hosting it. He's gonna hype it up. I can't blame him. That's what these companies do. But he did all, and I am appreciative of how transparent he's been though, because he did make it clear. Like, people were asking, like, oh, what games? New game announcements, big game announcements. And he did say that there will be some new game announcements, but the main focus is going to be on games we already know about. Now, that's still very exciting to me, because we could be talking about possibly finally seeing Elden Ring. For the love of God, where is that game, right? That would make Gamescom special for me, I tell you. But that also means maybe Spider-Man Miles Morales would be there. Maybe Sony would decide that's the best place to show the first gameplay. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's a possibility. What about Demon's Souls? If Demon's Souls is going to be a launch title, maybe they could make that announcement there and show like a new gameplay trailer. Would we see something like the price or release date or anything like that announced for either Sony or Microsoft at Gamescom? No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe Microsoft could, but I doubt it. Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe you're right, dude. Dustin, you're saying don't forget the PS5 UI was shown at Gamescom. You are totally right about that. I just featured that in one of my videos recently. Totally forgot about that. Somebody's saying PlayStation won't be at Gamescom. Well, okay, so this leads me to my second question, guys. What exactly is Sony's next thing for the PlayStation 5? Is it going to be an event? Or are they going to have kind of like scattered announcements here and there? This is the big question that I don't think any of us really have an answer to. I want to say that it will be an event. Not only because I want that and I'm hoping for that, and that's what I'm hoping for, but mainly because it just seems to me that Sony's kind of made it obvious that when they have something like genuinely significant to say about the PS5, they want to make it an event. But that's just it right here, guys, is like, we don't know. The true unknown here is what else Sony has left to reveal that we don't already know about. Think about that, because we know they have to reveal the teardown of the console. We know they have to reveal the price, the release date, and pre-order information. We know that they have to at least say something else to a certain extent about PS4 backwards compatibility. We know that they have to do these things and talk about these things, and they have to show some Spider-Man Miles Morales gameplay. And so we know those things are coming. But then the question becomes, but what don't we know about? And that leads to the conversation that we've been having about secret exclusive games. Silent Hill, apparently Mark Cerny's new secret game he's working on. What about Bloodborne PC? What about Resistance? What about SOCOM? What about God of War? What about all these things we've been hearing about? And I have to say, it would be genuinely maybe a little bit devastating for some people. Not devastating for me, but for some people, if we've been hearing all of these rumors and all of these leaks and we don't get any of that. And I'm not saying that we won't, but my great hope, and I have to imagine, most people seem to be anticipating an event of some sort. And if that is the general expectation, then I have to imagine that Sony is aware of that, and Sony would want to capitalize on that, right? Oe Akarumi, you're saying, about Gotham Knight, I thought Xbox bought WB Games since the game is WB. I thought it would be an Xbox exclusive or something. Yeah, just to clear that up real quick, Oe Akarumi, that never happened. You had some Xbox dudes who were really running with that, and I talked about it a little bit as well, because it could be a big deal if it did happen, and we heard that Microsoft was interested, as well as Activision, Take-Two Interactive, and EA Games, but that is not happening anymore. Apparently, WB Games is no longer for sale, and so that's not something that Xbox would have. I remember hearing somebody was like, oh, I heard a rumor that apparently they're already signing the papers. Like, yeah, I bet they are. I bet you'd love that, wouldn't you? The Xbox dudes that are like, oh my God, Xbox is going to own WB Games. Batman's going to be exclusive. And it's just like, whoa. Let's hold our horses here. So, Chris B, you're saying NAC 3, baby. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't think Mark Cerny's working on NAC 3, just being honest. But To me, the WB Games rumor, it always seemed a little bit kind of far-fetched to me. Not as far-fetched, but it's kind of up there with like the whole GTA 6 timed exclusivity rumor. It's like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But yeah, guys, I don't know. I don't know what Sony and Microsoft are waiting for. I will say that I think once we hit September, the longer Sony and Microsoft go without talking, like then it's actually, I think that's actually entering dangerous territory, where you are risking really doing some damage to the build up to your console, being like 60 days out and you're still playing the silent game. Like, if we don't know about the price and release date of these consoles by the second week of September, then I'm going to have to genuinely question what in God's name is going on. The Mark Shark, you're saying Demon Souls equals the next Bloodborne for PlayStation, but at 60 FPS. Dude, I am hyped as hell for Demon Souls. I think, people need to get like, look, I don't normally do this too often, but get hyped for Demon Souls as a launch window. Emphasize the word window. Launch window exclusive. Get hyped, because that shit is happening. That game was rated. Games don't get rated unless they're going to be releasing very soon. Get hyped. Demon Souls, baby. I can't wait. I might even stream that game. I don't know. Or maybe do a gameplay walkthrough. I don't know. I've been thinking of some different things I want to do when the PlayStation 5 launches to kind of like evolve some of the content here on my channel. And I'm so damn excited for Demon Souls, man. I really am. So, True Witty, you're saying, look, Game Pass is not a good value. I say this because Microsoft hasn't changed the way you think. Let's say State of Decay 3, it looks good, but it's because the box is better. Unfortunately, True Witty, I'm having a difficult time fully understanding this, but it sounds like you're trying to make the argument that that Game Pass isn't a good value. So I don't know. Maybe you can. But then you're saying here that, however, State of Decay 3 will be the same as usual. That is sad. I don't know, man. State of Decay 3 is so early in development. I will admit, like, we got a CGI trailer. Don't know what to expect. I hope it looks significantly better than 2. That's what I'm expecting and hoping for. But yeah, guys, when it comes to the news of an event or something, I don't know what to think at this point. I want to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, we should not be hyped for the PS5, right? And I'm guilty of this, and I probably will continue to be guilty of this, but I am so... I'm probably going to rant a little bit here, but I'm so fucking tired of people just making shit up, okay? Like, it genuinely disturbs me when we get to this point where, and I try so hard not to veer into this territory, and yes, I understand you could use the argument, but you constantly cover a lot of this stuff, and that is true, and I do that because I know that most of you are just as excited for the PS5 as I am, and I always let you guys know, like, we cannot buy into anything. We can entertain the idea momentarily as a possibility. But that's why I was so damn excited to cover that Demon Souls rating, because I'm like, finally, like, this isn't a rumor. This isn't a leak. This isn't inside info. This is the real thing. It's an actual goddamn rating, And in the meantime, there's just so many people just saying stuff, and I'm like, like, it's frustrating me because it's like there are actually times where I'm like, I don't even want to make a video on this. Because it's dumb. Like, it's dumb. Like, it's probably not real, and I'm just tired of it, And I feel bad with that mentality because it's like, I'm not trying to kill the hype for the PS5, and I do want to continue to create regular content for you guys, but my God, I'm just tired of people making shit up, man. Leo Jimmy, you're saying they better start putting respect on Cerny's name. That man made 2 games and developed 2 consoles in the span of 7 years. How long has Halo been in development? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Mark Cerny has all my respect, man. That dude has proved himself to the moon and back, in my opinion, when it comes to being in the gaming industry. Leave Knack alone, people. They're fun games. Yeah, I feel like Bug Snacks is the new Knack a little bit, where it's funny. But Yeah, I don't mean to just go on some kind of rant here, but it's just like I am getting to that point where like I do want to cover like the stuff that's going on. It just to me, it's just always sad when people take advantage of the silence and they start making stuff up. They start making it sound like they're so knowledgeable and they have all the and I don't doubt that there are people who do have contacts. But in the mix of that, there's just so many people who are just misleading and overhyping. And I'm trying really hard not to do that these days, or at all, because the truth is, guys, like what I think people, and this is, True Witty, you're saying I missed your super chat. Let me check here. I do apologize for that. I don't think so, True Witty. The last two super chats I see is you saying it looks like Game Pass is not a good value. I say this because Microsoft hasn't changed. You think, let's say, State of Decay looks good, but it's because the box is better. However, State of Decay 3 will be the same as usual, and that is sad. So I did get your super chat, buddy. But, I just don't understand, like, why people have to make it sound like the stuff that Sony has revealed and announced so far, like it's so little or it's just not good enough, right? Like I've said this before and I still mean it. Like Sony could just they could just go with what they've announced already and stick with that for the next 6 to 8 months and it would be more than enough. Like I don't think people realize just how many games Sony revealed at their event that are seemingly, maybe most of them are ready to go within the next year, potentially. Like if we get Demon Souls and we get Spider-Man and even a game like Godfall, like what about Gran Turismo 7? What about Ratchet and Clank? Horizon Forbidden West? Returnal? It's just like, what about these games? it's I don't know, man. I just get frustrated sometimes. Maybe it's just because my coffee high is my caffeine rush is wearing off a little bit. Yeah, like, I mean, I here's what I'm going to tell you guys, all right? And I'm not telling you this as an insider. I don't have inside information. I never have. And if I did, well, maybe I do have some inside information, but it's not worth talking about because the truth is, like, I don't want to be that guy, okay? I don't want to be that guy that's like, hey, check this out. I'm always appreciative of people who do genuinely have inside information and they're willing to reveal it. But, what I would say is, like, if you were to ask me, okay, MBG, what are the most realistic expectations we should have between now and the launch of the PS5 when it comes to announcements? For stuff we don't know. So I'm not talking about price. Obviously, expect price, expect a teardown, expect maybe some more conversation about backwards compatibility. My honest to God, like, most brutally true expectations here, one more game reveal. One more, okay? That should be your expectation. Because if we get one more, and I'm not talking about a small game, like a AA or indie game. I'm talking about a AAA game reveal. Your expectation should be one more AAA game reveal. And if your expectations are any more than that, your expectations need to come down a little bit. Chris B, you're saying, as for GTA 6, people are quick to forget Microsoft paid millions for timed exclusive expansions for GTA 4 on the 360. Sony might have taken notes. Exactly. That's the thing. See people saying, what about SOCOM? What about SOCOM? I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't tell you. But when it comes to SOCOM, I do believe it's real. I just don't really know if it's going to be announced this year, mainly because I don't know that Sony needs to announce it this year. Like Sony is on fire right now, whether people believe that or not, with everything they've talked about so far. So anything that they choose to announce between now and the launch of the PS5 is just something that they want to do as a big surprise. And they don't have to. They could do it just to build even more momentum. And it would be a good thing. It wouldn't be a bad thing. What about Silent Hill? Well, we'll see about that one. I think Silent Hill is real as well, but I Some people have been asking about Metal Gear Solid, and I don't know about that. What I know is that Mark Cerny is apparently working on a game. What this game could be, who knows? Maybe it is Knack 3. Maybe it is. But yeah, we're going to move on to one of the final topics here, guys. So before we do, if you could do me a big favor, hit the like button. We're over 650 likes. If we could get to 700 likes, maybe even 800 before the end of this podcast, that would be great. It really helps the podcast way more than you know. So hit that like button to show your support. So I wrote down here, there has been a report and a write-up on Halo Infinite's development recently, and it comes from Theret.com. So they're pretty damn reputable. And there's a lot to go over with this report, and I'm not covering the whole thing here, but the two main issues, and this was just kind of shocking to me, not the first one, but the second one, if it's true. Apparently, one of the biggest issues with the development of Halo Infinite is that 343 is apparently outsourcing a ton of development, and the coordination between the different companies is just rough, and it's not really, they're not on the same page. But one source actually told Theret.com that the upcoming Halo TV series, served as a significant distraction for 343's management. Oftentimes, that ended up taking more priority over making sure development progress is on the right path. 343 has since come out and denied these claims about the Halo TV show having any serious issues with or problems with 343's development on Halo Infinite. But frankly, I think we all have to call into question Phil Spencer's ability to lead AAA game development teams, or at the very least, call into question Matt Booty because he is the head of Xbox's first party. On top of this, guys, I want to take a moment to read these interesting tidbits that are coming from Reset Era. Again, you do have to take it with a grain of salt because this person has apparently been vetted, but we've been burned by that in the past. But this is what they said. They're called Sponger, I believe, over on Reset Era. And it says, let me just put this down here for a second. I was considering a lot to post it or not, so they were trying to decide whether or not they wanted to post this. But after a few consultations with a few different sources, I'll just post it. Microsoft/343 Industries is currently very busy with the idea of dropping Xbox One support for Halo Infinite. Even the idea to postpone it to early 2022 is on the table. It's pretty messy up there with decisions, but they are convinced that they need to make the best Halo game ever, which I have to admit, that's good. That's definitely good news. I think that it's good that they're aware they have to make the best Halo game because, yes, it's do or die for Halo with this next game. But it goes on to say here, and this is crazy to me, and this just makes me laugh because all these dudes running around with the rumors coming from, what's his name? I forget the dude, but the people making up rumors that apparently the PS5 is going to struggle with 1080p and whatnot. And if this person is to be believed, which I will keep the same energy, this person could very well just be making this up. However, I would argue that what we've seen of Halo Infinite already so far compared to what we've seen from Sony, this seems to actually be much more believable. The current version of Halo Infinite on the Xbox One S is nowhere near 1080p, even lower than 900p, and is having serious asset loading issues, much worse than you have seen on the PC demo. It is worth noting, we have yet to see Halo Infinite running on a console. The idea is to change the engine level, how assets load, make ray tracing as default, improve/unlock some assets, improve geometry, post-processing, and add more CPU-bound interactivity. Can a mod verify this information? This is what they were saying. And so we have Transistor, who is a mod over on Reset Era. He said, I've chatted with Sponger in the past. They're definitely in a position to know such things. So, yeah. Sounding like there are some, not just like a little bit of, just a few problems here and there over at 343. It sounds like it's an absolute cluster over there, and it's a nightmare. And, this is where I just genuinely have to call into question how Xbox dudes who are passionate about the brand, who are passionate about the console, and who are passionate about, these franchises, how in God's name can you sit here and still believe that Phil Spencer is the man to lead Xbox? Because sure, you could argue he turned around the Xbox brand in its darkest time, but did he really turn it around, or did he just take it into a completely different direction? Because to me, turning it around would mean that we see Xbox in a position somewhat similar to the position that Sony's in, where they have a great console, and they have a lot of fan loyalty, and they have a lot of confidence from gamers because they've delivered a lot of great games, and they're just not doing that. And so the idea that Halo Infinite, as a game that was set to launch in 2020 with the Xbox Series X, could potentially end up going into 2022. And guys, I don't have a whole lot of energy left, as you can tell, but I still got to rant about this. Oyakarumi, you're saying, is PlayStation going to be the only console that is competing with themselves, since Xbox is not doing anything and Nintendo is going their own way and doing their own thing? Really sad, but I am down with it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about last week on the podcast, where it just seems like Sony stands alone at this point when it comes to doing what they're doing and lack of competition. But I have to rant about this for a moment. I have seen multiple Xbox dudes, even high-profile Xbox dudes, say, "Oh, I don't know how anybody could be complaining or talking trash on the Halo Infinite delay. Just look at The Last of Us Part 2. True Whittier saying, "I hope Siphon Filter. I know Resistance is a thing." Yeah, I would love to see either of those games return, True Witty, but frankly, we're just going to have to wait and see. But thank you for your super chats. But these guys, I've actually seen these people talking shit on The Last of Us Part 2 and its delays. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you have to be kidding me. Look, people who've been following my journey with The Last of Us 2, you already know. I'm not out here shilling for anybody, any company, any brand, any game. That's not what I do. Okay, I may get excited, enthusiastic, and sometimes I may occasionally get defensive. But if you've been following my content with The Last of Us Part 2 throughout the year, up until the build-up, you know that I won't hold back any punches, and you can hate me for it. I'm okay with that. I've made it clear you can hate me for it, because that's how much you disagree with me, and you think I'm wrong. But at the very least, you know you're getting the goddamn truth from me. You're getting the real thing from me. No bullshit, no nothing. So right now I'm going to tell you, if you are one of these people trying to compare Halo Infinite's delay to The Last of Us Part 2's numerous delays, you should stop talking about video games at all. Because that is such an apples to oranges comparison. If I've ever seen one, I almost can't fathom that people who take pride in trying to be intelligent actually say that shit. Like, are you kidding me? I understand, sure, while The Last of Us got delayed multiple times, but I want you to go back to even just the first trailer for The Last of Us. Okay, very exciting. But go back to the first gameplay we saw of The Last of Us. It did suffer numerous delays. Not to mention, it was set to release in the middle of a fucking pandemic, and that was part of the reason for the delays. Okay? But I want you to go back and look at that gameplay from 2018, and then look at Halo's gameplay. Please stop talking about video games if you think those two things are even remotely comparable. Because the difference between a game, in my opinion, based off of what I have seen, not what I think, what I have visually seen for myself and what I have read on the internet from sources, okay, and what I've experienced myself. I may have my issues with The Last of Us Part 2 story, but that is a quality video game if I have ever played one. No one can argue just the sheer quality of that game. If you want to call a game quadruple A, you can call a game like The Last of Us Part 2 quadruple A, because it takes the detail, the attention to detail to the next level. Oh, God. Dude, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. It really does, because it's like, you got to be fucking kidding me that people can actually say that shit and and with conviction. They say it with conviction like they're right. Like, what planet are you living on, dude? Planet Xbox, apparently. Low Y, you're saying haters gonna hate regardless. Big ups to MBG for always keeping it real. Well, thank you, buddy. I'm glad you can see that. Chris B, saying it's like comparing Cyberpunk 2077's 2 delays to Halo. Exactly. Like, it's becoming pretty evident. And we also have I already read that one. But it's becoming pretty damn evident to me that the reason for Halo Infinite's delay is not because it needs more time. It's because it needs like a fundamental overhaul. Not the game itself, possibly the game itself. I'm sure the game is going to be overhauled in numerous ways potentially, or they're going to try their best to keep it together. It seems like the studio itself needs an overhaul. Now, even you, and okay, you could argue, well, what about the crunch rumors we were hearing, or the issues that were written up, excuse me, from Jason Schreier about the issues they were having with developer retention over at Naughty Dog. Look, I admit, and I can admit this, my take on that was kind of wrong. All right. And that was because I was too enveloped in the idea that, like, no, like, this is bullshit. This game's going to be great and nothing, like, they're just trying to slander this game. But I realized looking back that, like, look, and I did admit this numerous times, if there are actual, I don't think like it's more along the lines of development issues within Naughty Dog as much as it's just like, you know, studio practices, their methods and their practices and what is being normalized. If it's taken to an extreme that's just really not healthy for anybody, then that needs to be addressed, and they need to take care of that, and they need to do that for the viability and health of the, you know, in the long term of their studio and their developers, because without your developers, you're nothing. And I'm almost positive, I could be wrong, I don't have any inside track, but I'm almost positive that since that report came out, they've made efforts to do that if there really were issues. But I've always called into question, how bad is it really? And maybe it could be kind of bad, you know, I don't know. I'm not on the inside. What I do know though, and what is undeniable, is the product that was shipped. Those delays were not because they had to overhaul the game and completely shift development, and development was just an absolute cluster, okay? And a disaster. That's not why that game was delayed. True Witty, you're saying, so the question is scaling possible like Phil said? No. See, this is where Phil, again, this is where I have to even question Phil. Do you even know what you're talking about? Because here's the thing about these Xbox dudes. They reiterate and they regurgitate the things that Phil Spencer and, you know, people around Phil Spencer say. And one of the things that Phil Spencer tried to make clear is, oh, well, scalability is not going to be a problem. And now we're hearing, oh, wait, what? You're having trouble getting Halo Infinite running on the Xbox One? Guys, look, I know that there's people who like laugh because like, damn, dude, how can you get so worked up over this shit? We have to understand, like, I'm in the thick of it. I'm in the weeds here, okay? That's what I do. So I don't expect everybody to be as upset as I am about shit like this. People think I don't listen. I do listen. People think I don't pay attention. I do pay attention. People think that I ignore. I'm not ignoring. I see it. Well, I mean, maybe I do ignore. People think I'm not seeing what it is that's going on and what is being said. And, you know, I know that there's people who try to like act like they're above all this shit. We're like, oh, we're not about the console war. It's like, yeah, you're not about the console war, but you'll just partake in it when it's convenient for you, right? That's what you'll do. Now, I'm not saying that I am for the console war per se. However, what I am for is the competition, because that's the problem here is people are all like, oh, it's a console war nonsense. You're just a bunch of children. No, we're adults talking about the business side of things, the business side, the actual living, breathing business side of the gaming industry, and how competition is a vital and completely 100% necessary aspect of that. And so if you want to whittle that down and bring that down and drop that down to a level of it's just nonsensical console war, no, it's not. No, it's not. I know you want to do that to try to make it seem like anybody who questions Game Pass is just some kind of fanboy. No, we're not. We have actual legitimate reasons for questioning the long-term viability and impact that something like Game Pass will have. You know, you want to question why we kind of push back against the idea of Microsoft's marketing of 12 T-flops, the most powerful console, because it's a joke. Because it's an absolute joke. I'm just so tired of seeing these people in higher positions with so much damn influence, and they just say shit that's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how do you see things this way? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is where I'm gonna keep it totally real with my audience. People will say shit for clout. I think you all know that. It's just so obvious. People will say the things that they think will align mostly with what the majority is saying. And they will do that in an effort to paint themselves in the best possible light that they can. I know you guys know this already. And I guess I'm just saying I get frustrated, and sometimes I like to vent here on the podcast because it's like we're all human. We're all guilty of doing it sometimes. I'm not saying that I've never done that or that I never do that ever, because that's not true. I'm guilty of all these things, but I try to hold myself accountable for them, and I try to like bring it back down to a real level with people where it's like, we got to kind of stop with that shit. We got to stop saying we're being real when we're not actually being real. We need to stop, holding back our truest thoughts and opinions out of fear that you might get ratioed or people might not agree with it. I mean, guys, I hate to keep referencing this, but I was so terrified to be honest about how I thought about The Last of Us Part 2. And I know that some people even despise me for the way I handled it, but I realized like this is what I want to do. Like, I need to talk about this in the most honest way I can, because I need to, for myself and for my just my mental well-being, considering like how excited I was for that game and how much it meant to me. And it was just so terrifying to me to actually like talk about that shit in the way I did to my audience. But I just realized that, like, you know what? I'd rather just be 110% real and get slapped around for it. But at least I'll know that I was 110% real. I would have an easier time living with that and laying my head down at night than knowing that I'm being some kind of fake individual with some kind of like mask on or some type of persona. I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it. I try my best to be like professional with my normal content. And I think that's why I appreciate the podcast so much, and those of you who show up and hang out with me, because it just gives me an opportunity to just talk, to just be real, and not really just like sugarcoat shit, because it's too many people do that stuff too often, and it gets tiring. It really does. It just drains me, man. But I know I'm being a little bit negative here. But hey, sometimes we all experience negative energy. It's how you handle it, I guess, right? How you let it flow through you, and how you let it influence you. So when it comes to Halo Infinite, guys, it is what it is. Okay? Like, I'm not looking forward to the game. I don't know many people who are. I'm glad that Microsoft internally, at the very least, is aware that they can't screw this game up. So hell, if you gotta send it to 2022, then by all means, go ahead if that's what's going to ensure the best game. But damn, if I was a Halo fan, I would be pretty damn upset right now. And this is where I'm glad to see that Sony doesn't really allow things like this to happen. Somebody had mentioned like Zipper Interactive with SOCOM, and they were like, well, Sony allowed the same thing to happen with Zipper Interactive. No, they didn't. Sony gave them chance after chance, and look, I'm not speaking to the quality of the games because I don't know, but Sony knew when to kill it. That's what I'm saying. They knew when to kill it and move on. And they realized if we're going to come back to SOCOM, it's going to be later down the line. But this has got to end here because this is just ruining everything, True Whittier saying, so the reason Halo is delayed is because of TV and COVID. Ghost was released during COVID and was thought, and Ghost is getting multiplayer during COVID. Phil needs to go. It's excuses, man. It's excuses. And that's what a lot of these guys who are still very much advocates of the next generation Xbox and, people, I understand that everybody can see things differently. It's all about perception. I could understand that there are people who perceive the position that Xbox is in and the direction they're going in is good, but I don't necessarily think that that's true in all aspects. So we're going to move right along here, though. I'm going to blast through these last few topics here. So that way I can do a quick Q&A with the chat before I end this podcast. Ghost of Tsushima Legends was announced. It's a free co-op multiplayer add-on, and all owners of the base game will get it for free, and it features 0 microtransactions. Sony also confirmed that they have no plans to add them in the future, and all content can be unlocked through playing the game. So hats off to Sony and Sucker Punch for going above and beyond here once again. Tyson Webb, you're saying, hey, listeners, go get some MBG merch. I received my hoodie this week, and it's pretty nice. Well, thank you so much for that plug, Tyson Webb. Yes, if you want to help support me directly, buying some merch is another great way to do that. It also helps, advertise the channel here a little bit. I did update it recently, so you can go check that out. But thank you guys for that. For those of you who buy merch, thank you so much. Appreciate that direct support. All right, so we're just going to move. I'm not going to talk too much about the Ghost of Tsushima thing because I've been talking about that. Again, hats off to Sony. They're doing it right, man. They're doing it right. Oh, there was one other thing I did want to mention about that I failed to mention last time is, did anybody else notice that for the Ghost of Tsushima Legends trailer, it was the first Ghost of Tsushima related trailer that featured the new PlayStation Studios intro logo. So I went back and I looked at all the trailers for Ghost of Tsushima, and that was the only one that featured it. This tells me that we could potentially see Ghost of Tsushima make its way to PS5 as a standalone, maybe $20 multiplayer game you can buy when it gets PS5 enhancements. I even argue that maybe it could be a living, breathing game over time. But the fact that they are, saying that there won't be any microtransactions whatsoever, this tells me that, it's just going to kind of be its own standalone contained thing, but they will add more content to it over time, which is really cool. So I did notice that, and I was like, okay, that's interesting, because the only time we've seen that so far are for games that are going to be on PS5. So if you go back and watch that trailer, you'll see that new PlayStation logo intro, Studios logo intro, didn't make its way to any other trailer except that one. So anyway, moving right along. This one I find interesting, and I don't know if you guys noticed this. New PlayStation 5 box art has been spotted. The box art for NBA 2K, both the standard version and the special edition, has been released, and it features a black case, not a blue case. So we haven't heard anything about it specifically, but some are now speculating that this maybe signals a stealth change to the PlayStation 5 box art, or that maybe publishers can actually choose between blue or black. So yeah, this is a real thing that happened where the I can't stand NBA 2K. Their business practices are just completely toxic and terrible to the industry. But they did release the official box art for their game, and the PS5 version, it's a black case. So what's weird is Sony isn't saying anything about it, and so I don't know what's up with that. I mean, a lot of people were saying they really like it, so I just wanted to mention that to you guys. If you're not aware of it, go check out an image of it. I think it looks pretty good. I do like the blue case as well, but the black just has this type of, I don't know, it kind of harkens back to the PS3 and the PS2 a little bit. I really do like it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they made a stealth change where they're going to be black cases now. We'll have to see though. But finally, the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War reveal is happening in just a few days. And there was recently a leak about the PS5 UI and the partnership, but I think it has since been confirmed that it was just made up. And that's why I didn't spend too much time talking about it. However, they did mention a strengthening of the partnership between Sony and Activision, which did make a lot of sense to me, because it's I think that it's obvious that partnership's going to continue, but I don't know. I'm interested to see the new Call of Duty. It's weird because I've never seen them wait this long to show off a Call of Duty game. So you guys let me know in the chat. Are you excited for the new Call of Duty? I like the fact that it's seemingly going back to the Cold War. Reminds me of Black Ops 1, and I really loved Black Ops 1. I liked Frank Woods. I thought was a really cool character. So I'm pretty excited for that. But those are all the topics I have for today, guys. Yeah, also I want to ask, This may be like a super lazy thing of me to do, but I got some stuff to take care of after this. Any of you, of the 970 people watching here, first off, hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 800 likes. I feel a little bit strange asking this, but it would help me out greatly. If there's anybody here who, wants to timestamp this podcast afterwards for me, feel free to do that, and I will pin your comment, okay? If you want to timestamp it. Now, I want to let you know, if multiple people here end up timestamping it, I cannot pin all of your comments. I'll try to pin the one that seems most accurate. So if you want to, because I don't know that I wasn't able to last week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to this week because it takes a lot of time for me to do that. And if anybody who listens to this afterwards, if you want to, I do apologize. I noticed that YouTube has this built-in timestamp thing. Don't know what's up with that because I can't seem to find that or figure out how to implement that. I would love to, but I don't know how to. So I have to look into that. True Witty, you're saying, I didn't like your talk on The Last of Us. I'm assuming that's what you're trying to say, but at least you're honest. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to ask people to agree with me. I'm not saying things in the hopes that most people will agree with me. I'm saying things, I'm telling you what I think. And if you hate what I think, that's fine too, PlayStation Nexus, you're saying Sony should revive MAG. Yeah, I heard good things about that. No, Enrico Kitching. See, if I see that crap, I'm going to delete that. Well, although it'd be kind of funny because people think it's a bit, they'll think it's true and then it's a troll. All right, guys. We're going to transition to the Q&A segment, starting with FreezeVamp. You're saying, love you, MVG. I have an important question. Which day is the PS5 event? If you said it, I missed it. I was busy. I don't know, FreezeVamp. I don't have an answer for that because we don't know when the next PlayStation event's going to be. However, I would let you know that if there is going to be an event of some sort relating to PlayStation, it will more than likely happen sometime in early September. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, if you guys want to just chat with me for a little bit before we end it here, I think I've decided to kind of cut the general gaming news section of the podcast out simply because I don't know that it's really necessary. I think it honestly just artificially extends the podcast a little bit. And I'm trying not to let them go too far over the 2 hour, possibly 2.5 hour mark. MBG, you got a lot of foot fetish people in here. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Whatever. MVG, if you could choose one, SOCOM or Resistance, definitely SOCOM. Could you imagine what would happen if Phil Spencer and Mark Cerny switched places? Oh, no, I don't want to imagine that. Thoughts on Batman and Gotham Knights? I think the Batman looks awesome, and I think Gotham Knights looks pretty solid as well. I'm excited for both. MBG, you're saying, or you're telling me that you would still buy a PS5 even if they had no launch games just to replay all the old exclusives in an upgraded format. Yeah, that's interesting. PlayStation allegedly bought BioShock IP from 2K. I don't know about that. That would be interesting, though. That'd be crazy. MVG, I don't have a question, but I completed The Last of Us 2 on permadeath and grounded. I just needed a moment to flex. Well, good job, man. Good job, JD Bear. Sounds like a stressful task. Spacebar, you're saying in Ghost of Tsushima, you like samurai or ghost gameplay more? I like the samurai gameplay more. I don't know. The only problem I have with Ghost of Tsushima is the stealth. I don't know if I just suck at it, but I really just like going head to head and playing the more honorable path. MBG Insomniac is still tweeting Resistance screenshots. Yeah, I don't know why they keep doing that, man. It's driving me nuts. I think it's driving every Resistance fan nuts. Anthony, you're saying, thank you, MBG, for keeping us up to date about all the latest rumors and news. No problem, man. I enjoy doing it. Sometimes it just gets frustrating when you cover so many leaks and rumors and just so many turn out to not be true. It just makes you feel like, God, I feel bad because it's like I feel like I'm leading people on and I don't want to continue to do that. MBG, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. She is awesome. If you can update me on any news for the Halloween kills. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. What do you think about the PlayStation 5 TV spot? I think it's okay. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I get what they're going for. MBG blue cases for exclusive games, black for multi-plat games. I would say yeah, but we've seen, I think, multiple third-party games with the blue cases, so I don't know about that. MBG, if Microsoft doesn't care about console sales, what gives third-party incentives to support them? I guess just the fact that they can put their games on the Xbox platform in general. MBG, I platinumed Fall Guys. Wow. Congratulations. I didn't even realize I had a platinum. I don't know how hard it is either. Do you think Ghost is a strong Game of the Year contender? I want to say it is, but it won't be. I doubt it. I think The Last of Us Part 2 is going to go head-to-head with Cyberpunk 2077 for Game of the Year. Halo is going to be released in 2022. Look up Legacy of Kain. Yeah, I heard about that game. I'll have to look into it. I say this every week. Oh, I'm going to look into it, and I never do. So I apologize if I'm leading anybody on by saying that. I'm very tired right now. I think I just had a terrible caffeine crash. Welcome to Gotham Knights, exclusive PS5 content DLC. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't have a question, but when the hating doesn't work, they start telling lies. The Xbox went from Spider-Man DLC to it can't run in 4K. Yeah, I know, man. It doesn't end. Could you imagine a Resistance 1 through 3 remaster for the PS5? I could. I couldn't find your podcast in my feed. I had to search for it. Anyone else still having issues? See, this is pissing me off. Because I can very, 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 very clearly tell that this is an issue once again, because the viewership for this podcast is significantly down compared to last week's. And it could just be the topics, but I mean, it's like a stark contrast. It's not like it's kind of down or a little bit down. It's really down. And when this shit happens, it hurts the podcast badly. So right now it says I have a total of about 12,000 playbacks, which is not, compared to last week, by this time I had over 32,000. And I don't know why it's doing that. And I've heard that from multiple people today, so I don't know. MBG, there will be an event for David Hayter at Twitch in a few days coming. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with Metal Gear Solid, though. I wish it did. I apologize if I miss any of your questions, by the way, but MBG, can I send you the Twitch user, which will stream David Hayter? I'll probably look it up. MBG, is water wet? I think so. Mystic and MBG podcast. Yeah, I like Mystic. He's really cool. I think his flavor of content is very different than mine, though, in the sense that he's a very calm individual. I just don't think that he would be the type of person to want to do a podcast with somebody like myself. I'm a little bit more of a loose cannon sometimes. It was originally in my subs feed and then it went away. Yeah, I don't know, man. Which game are you going to play first on the PS5 and why? Most likely Spider-Man. Probably because that'll be the first game that I get my hand. I don't know. I just feel like that's the game that needs to be played first. Did you see that PlayStation renewed their COD agreement? I didn't read anything about that, but I'm not surprised. Darkland 22, will you be going to the midnight release for the PS5? It depends on how I get it. I'll probably try to order it online. So if that's the case, I'll just hope that I get it the day it comes out. These console arguments are starting to seem like the politics nowadays. Yeah, I feel that. Do you listen to Nirvana? They may be way before your time and mine, but sometimes you have to go back and find great music. Nirvana music. Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed in the Batman trailer. Actually, I love Nirvana. I love a lot of 90s music. I'm all about classic rock, hard rock, metal. A lot of modern day metal, I'm not gets a little bit too crazy for me, but that's pretty much what I'm into. So yeah, I loved the hearing Under the Bridge, or under what's that? Something in the Way. That's what it's called. Something in the Way from Nirvana was awesome. I think it fit really well. Let me see here. MBG, would you find his podcast? People, if you subscribe to MBG, you would find his podcast all the time. Yeah, I think. See, I don't know, man. I've heard sometimes that even after they're subscribed, they still don't see it. And I'm like, what is going on? Make sure you sing Mark Cerny a happy birthday tomorrow. Yeah. Mystic is not a fanboy. Are you implying I am? Yeah, Mystic keeps it pretty real. I mean, he's just pretty much like PlayStation, because just PlayStation, and he doesn't, I think occasionally he wants to go in a little bit hard, but he doesn't, because he's just trying to keep it cool. And I respect that, Mr. Squeezins. I'm not reading that, dude. I'm not reading that. I appreciate the super chat, but nice try. Can you lift weights with your hair? I don't think so. How many wins do you have on Fall Guys? I think none. Maybe one or two. Do you think The Last of Us 2, Ellie and Abby will come back with Naughty Dog announcing the DLC called Factions? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not thinking that far ahead when it comes to the Last of Us universe, honestly. Am I a Marvel or DC guy? I'm a DC guy. I like Marvel, but I'm definitely a DC guy. Imagine Batman as a character in the new Batman game or Gotham Knights is a free DLC exclusive to the PlayStation console. Oh my God. MBG the loose cannon wouldn't change anything. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I just like doing my thing here. That's all. You know. Did I watch the Marlon Dev interview? And if so, what did you think? I did see that. Some of it, not all of it, some of it. It was interesting. It was interesting to hear what that developer had to say about both the PS5 SSD, as well as what he said about developing games underneath Microsoft. Apparently, he hated it. Apparently, he literally said that Microsoft doesn't let you develop certain genres of games, which I'm just like, whoa. But he also did say that he believes Ratchet and Clank could play the same way on the Series X that we saw on the PS5, which is interesting. But the irony about that is like, does it matter? Because it won't. You know what I mean? I've seen some Xbox dudes try to run with that. Like, oh, see, a developer said that Ratchet and Clank could play on the Series X too. Like, okay, is it going to? Oh, wait, it's not? Okay, then. Not sure what point you're trying to make here, buddy, but it doesn't fucking matter because nobody's gonna, like, you can't play Ratchet and Clank on the Series X. I'm sure Spider-Man could run on the Series X. You're gonna be playing it on the Series X? No. I'll tell you one thing, I can tell you for a fact, and I don't need a developer to tell me this, Halo Infinite could run on the PS5. There you go, I get these random bursts of energy, so I don't know. I know this is a tough question, but Xbox or the PS5? PS5, man. Obviously. What do I think about the Black Myth game? I think it looks really good. Okay, what game are you excited to see at Gamescom? Any of them. Elden Ring. I want to see Elden Ring. The folks over Middle East PlayStation currently working in collaboration with one of the major designing firms to bring the DualSense bundles to be ready at launch day. That sounds cool if it's true. What is your plans for the channel after the PS5 is released? I don't know yet. I don't know. Obviously, I'll continue to cover all, as many things regarding PlayStation as I can, but I don't know. I want to branch out a little bit, but the thing about branching out is it's hard because I know the majority of my audience here, you're all about the PS5, you're all about PlayStation and PlayStation exclusives, which I am too. But, branching out is difficult because obviously my goal, and there's going to be people who try to tell you otherwise, and they're lying straight up to your face. The goal with my channel, as with any other YouTube channel, is to get views, to get as many people to watch my content as possible. So I would always, I always think about branching out, trying to do different things, but you got to find a good balance because a lot of times, like, you have a specific audience, they expect a specific thing, and that's fine. And I love that thing. I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't. But in order to do different things, you can't just completely pull the rug out and change it overnight. It takes time. So we'll see in the future. Jacob, you're saying you subscribed to me, but you still didn't see the podcast and the feeds. That's really annoying. Sony fanboy, maybe, and that's cool if you are RMG. You have reasons to be PlayStation exclusives. Enough said. I apologize if your last message has been skipped, Freeze Vamp. Do we have permission to launch your 2020 presidential campaign? No, I am not running for president. I do not want that responsibility. How does one to apply to be a mod around here? We'll see. Mods are just something that randomly happens, so maybe one day. Do reviews along with recommendations or not? Yeah, that's one direction I can go in. I kind of feel like, I don't know, because we do the podcast, I notice that there's a large portion of my audience that does like to interact with me. Maybe we could do more like live live gameplay streams or something like that. We'll see. When's the next PS5 event? I don't know. If you can customize the PS5 shell, what would you pick as your theme? I don't know. Probably a tie between black and blue. I do really like the white though, so I don't know. MBG, I also got a pic of custom DualSense controllers. Can I send them to you? You can send them to me over on Twitter if you want. What's more annoying, our questions or Phil's comments? Easily Phil Spencer's comments. Do you think that Microsoft will do a Crackdown 4 considering 3? No. Nope. That franchise is done. Put a fork in it. Let me see. Freeze Vamp, you're saying that you liked David Hayter about Metal Gear Solid returning to the PS5, and he liked your reply. Could you imagine? Guys, I told you, if a PS5 exclusive Metal Gear Solid game, doesn't matter if it's a collection, a remake, a new game entirely, if it's announced for the PS5 before the end of this year, I will film myself doing a workout video with the PlayStation 5. I will use the PlayStation 5 as my workout equipment, okay? And I mean that. I'll have Metal Gear Solid music playing in the background and everything. Are we expecting to see new game reveals at the Game Awards show? Yeah, we probably will. Are we ever going to see you doing playthroughs of games? Yeah, that's like what I'm thinking. Maybe with the PS5 coming out, we could do like some playthroughs of PS5 exclusives potentially. Have I played Sekiro yet? No. MBG at the best creator. You'll almost be there at 100K. Also, say my name. Julian Aguilar. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but thank you so much, buddy. I'm glad you enjoy the content. Did you ever game with your subs? You should think about doing something like that. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe in the long run, like, as I evolve the membership perks, maybe that could be an interesting perk, spontaneous game night or something. Check me on your Twitter. All right, man, I'll be sure to check that out when this is done. Since I'm switching to the PS5, I got a lot of exclusives to catch up on, like God of War. Yeah, man, there's a lot of great games to play. There's a lot. An unboxing vid from an aerial perspective. Maybe. Do giveaways. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, the only reason I don't do giveaways really is because I don't know. I just feel like it's an artificial way to create like engagement. I know that it is an effective way, but I try my best to ensure that any engagement I get is organically, but maybe in the future we could do some. I remember there was that one guy, he was on here and he was like, MBG, talk with me. Maybe we'll do like a PS5 giveaway and he'll pay for the PS5. And like, I can tell you right now, if we did do that, it would have to be US only, unfortunately. But that's a possibility, if Dustin, there you are. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we did. Yeah, Dustin, you were talking to me about that. So that is something we can do potentially. And we'll see. So that could be the first ever giveaway. It would be a hell of a giveaway, I'll tell you that. One lucky winner in the US. I feel bad because it has to be US only, but that's just the way it is, especially with all the crap that's going on now. But all right, guys, I think that is going to do it. You're saying, would you rather first alien contact be robotic or organic? I'm going to say organic because robotic would be kind of terrifying. That was a really weird question, but I've been watching so much about deep space. I've just been watching a lot. I've always been interested in astronomy, and I've just been watching a lot of stuff about space. And guys, like, dude, space is mind-blowing. It's literally mind-blowing. It actually disturbs me a little bit mentally. Like, I can't handle it too much because I'm like, I just can't. I can't handle it. There's just so much insane shit, and it puts your existence here on Earth into perspective. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this podcast. I hope you did enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. I think there is possibly a package arriving outside. Holy shit, Dustin. Dustin, I know. I'm sorry, buddy. How could I forget your name? Thank you so much for that. Just as I'm signing off, man. Thank you so much for that donation, man. Dude, that support means a lot. Dustin Ains, right? Ainsworth, is it Ains or Ainsworth? Right now it's just Dustin, but I apologize for forgetting, man. I got so many things going through my head, but wow, thank you so much for that donation, buddy. You continually show your support in a very meaningful way, and it's not to look. I don't mean to make it sound like Dustin's special or anybody else who donates a larger amount, because I feel like that's unfair. I genuinely appreciate all of the support that you guys show me, but I certainly have to give a bigger thank you to those who were like, wow, very generous donation, buddy. Thank you so much. But yeah, everybody, in case you're wondering, Dustin is the one who wants to try to make the PlayStation 5 giveaway a reality. So yeah, maybe we will make that thing a real thing that happens. But thank you, buddy. Yeah, I like to think that, I don't know. I like to think Dustin is investing into the channel, you know. But I do appreciate that. I will tell you, like, I've been putting so much thought. I guess I'll just say this before. I feel like I should talk a little bit more now because I just feel weird. Like, oh, thanks for that $200 donation. See it. Like, makes me feel a little funny. But I will say this before we end the podcast. I've been putting a lot of thought into the future direction of the channel and like where I want it to go. And it's very obvious that this is a PlayStation-centric channel, and I don't think that's ever going to change, at least not anytime remotely soon. I mean, it's difficult for me to sit here and talk about, oh, this is where my channel is going to be 5 years from now. Like, I don't know. Wow, Dustin, you're saying you're a disabled veteran? Well, if that is true, buddy, then thank you for your service, man. I do appreciate that in many ways. But you know, I've been thinking about the direction of the channel and how, like, right now the general theme of the channel is PS5. Okay, like that's what I've come to the conclusion here, or the conclusion I've come to with here, if I could speak. And I think that's fine, you know, like, and I'm all for that because my excitement for the PS5 is genuine, and I don't mind for now, like my channel being completely centered around the PS5. And so I think the real question is, it's like, you know, how relevant will the PS5 continue to be going into 2021, 2022? But what I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be possibly even more relevant than the PS4, mainly because it seems like the games are going to be just on point. And obviously, like, I want my channel to be centered around the PS5. I want it to be centered around PlayStation 5 games. But over time, I do want to, especially as my channel grows, you know, you're saying, MVG, what does it mean if someone likes my tweet? Doesn't it mean something good is about to happen? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But I do. Oh, you're saying now you can get the headset and camera and the peripherals for your PS5. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, dude, you guys were asking me, like, how come I don't stream games too often anymore like I used to in 2019? I don't do it, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but it's legitimate. As of right now, I only stream through the PlayStation 4. It's just the most convenient way. It's because of my setup to do so. I don't do it because I don't like to hear my PlayStation 5. I don't like the fact that my 4, not 5, I don't secretly have a PlayStation 5, don't worry. I don't like the fact that my PS4 gets so ridiculously loud. For those of you who watched my last stream with Ghost of Tsushima, the whole time it just sounds like I'm sitting next to an air conditioner. And so with the PS5, I'm hoping for two things. One, and I think we already know this, it's going to be quiet. Okay, it's not going to be loud. You're not going to hear it come through the stream. Two, this is the most important thing that I'm hoping for. If you guys are wondering why, like, I haven't bought a capture card yet to stream through my PC and whatnot, it's because I'm hoping that streaming on the PS5 is going to be significantly better than streaming on the PS4. For example, I hope I can do 1080p 60. I hope that's something that the PS5 offers, or possibly even 4K 30. I would assume it is, right? I think that's a safe assumption. And if it's not, then I'll, you know, invest in a capture card and whatnot and get a whole new. The only thing is I have to get like a whole new setup going, potentially. to make that happen. But yeah, I have been putting thought into that, guys, and I guess I'll just talk to you guys about this. Just mention it to you before I leave, where it's like, as the channel continues to grow, a lot of the content, if not the majority of the content that you have subscribed for, that you have been supporting for as long as you've been subscribed, that's not going anywhere. But as a content creator, I'm always thinking about ways to evolve. If you go back and watch my content from 3 years ago, you'll know that I am like, I mean, it's a night and day difference. And over time, it will continue to evolve that way. And I just want to try to do some things that I think will really enhance, excuse me, the overall engagement with my audience. I think, the podcast for me is like one of the biggest things I brought to the channel. That when 2020 started, because a lot of you guys in 2019 were asking me like, MBG, when are you going to do a podcast? Are you ever going to go on a podcast? I was like, you know what? MBG, do you have long hair? Yours is 3 feet long. I actually literally just shaved my head like 4 days ago, completely. Because I'm like, my hair was really long too. It was getting long. See, my hair grows in really curly. And I'm not talking about like fro curly. I'm talking like those weird, like long ass curls where it looks kind of like straight hair that's just curled like in a large way. It's really weird. So I don't like to let my hair get real long. And so I just, I just shaved it, I don't mind doing that. But yeah, a lot of you guys were asking me, MVG, if you say you look like Keanu and Deacon, do you look like critical? I don't know. See, I gotta be careful because like I don't want people thinking like, people have told me like, damn, like, those are some good looking guys that you're saying you look like. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But yeah, in 2019, you guys were asking me like, please do a podcast. Like, are you going to do a podcast? And I told you guys to stay tuned and I was going to work on it. And I knew that at the beginning of 2020, in January of 2020, I wanted to launch the podcast. I do not look like Jesus, no. But in 2020, I wanted to launch the podcast and I did it. And it was nerve wracking for me because it was like, it felt like a commitment. Because I knew if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it right. And I wanted to do it on my own terms, but I also wanted to do it weekly. I could have done like a monthly podcast, but, we made some massive strides on the channel here this year and we're still growing. And, the channel has seen more success than it ever has. And obviously that's a huge thanks to you guys. I literally couldn't do it without you guys. And especially those of you though, who show up to the podcast and continue to watch the podcast and engage, and, members, those of you who donate, all that good stuff. It really, it makes it easier for me to, and it makes me feel more comfortable to try to continue to, feel my way out into trying different types of content and experimenting. And even though lately I've been playing it kind of safe, that's mainly because right now my focus for basically the remainder of the year is on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation announcements, as well as Xbox, basically the consoles and the next gen conversation, but more so around PlayStation. And so I feel like this year we're pretty locked in. And I think if we're going to see any, I want to say major change, I don't want to make it sound like that, but like if we see, if you guys are going to anticipate anything different, any type of shake up, a different flavor of content potentially, it's most likely going to come at around the launch of the PS5. The launch of the PS5 is going to be huge here on the channel. Obviously, I know that a lot of you want an unboxing and stuff like that, and I would like to do that. I know that a lot of you wanted to see like a face reveal and stuff like that. And so, eventually when we hit milestones, we'll do that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always thinking about this stuff. I'm always thinking about the channel. I'm always thinking about what's next. And I don't want to, I feel like there's something special about the community that we have here and our shared love of gaming, but more specifically PlayStation. And you guys have witnessed my journey recently, kind of coming back to it in the past like 2 years. And it's just, it just seemingly gets better. And so I think that's a journey that we can continue for quite some time. I don't think that PlayStation is going to go anywhere anytime soon. And I think that there's only going to continue to be bigger and bigger announcements. And I'm thinking that, I'm thinking that there's a lot of really great things in the store. And so I guess I'm just trying to say thank you guys. Thank you for all of your continued support. It really means a lot. And it goes a long way. It really does. So now I think this is where I'm going to end the podcast. I told myself I wanted to try not to get to the 2.5 hour mark, but here we are. So I guess we will end it here. One last time. If, if anybody wants to, timestamp the podcast to help me out, that would really be great. No pressure. You don't have to, but I just can't promise that I can do it today. I am running very tight on time here, actually. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to have to end it here, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Dustin, for that extremely generous donation, and all of you who've donated super chats, all of my members, all of my new members, and all those of you who leave the podcast a like and watch. Before you leave, make sure you hit that like button. We're at 800. Let's see if we can get to 850. But yeah, look forward to the upcoming content this week. And with that being said, until next time, guys, take care.